All right, we are back live. Hear myself. Sorry, guys.
You need headphones, bro.
Take over, Berk.
All right, guys, welcome back to another Solve for Why Polk D-Negs broadcast. We are back. We were in Texas. We're not in Texas any longer. It's great. Believe it or not, we're actually in the same house, even though it kind of looks weird right now. Christian is going to figure this out on his end. I'm going to, I guess, carry the load until then. I actually hear nothing, which is kind of concerning. Not really sure where my audio went. Let me know if you guys are hearing me okay. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I got the chat pulled up on the side. I see you out there. What up, Poker Face VIP, Blankman, Enrique. Blankman says the A squad's working today. Shout out to Brad Wilson, Chris K, and Thalo for covering for us while we were gone. Really appreciate those guys. Can't say enough good things about them. I was able to catch a little bit. I guess I should say thank you to Andre as well, as always. Doing God's work out here. Yeah. Chin's back. I'd like to welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Big Papi himself, Christian Soto.
Can you all hear me, or am I still away?
Oh, we hear you great, man. You sound good.
Well, I'm glad to be back. I'm here to help you call the shots. And, it was a really. I saw you struggle a little with that intro. It's not as easy as you think, man. My job is hard.
To be fair, two things occurred. One, my audio went from echoing to disappearing, which is now good because I was afraid they weren't hearing me. And then two, I was trying to figure out where I could place the chat on the screen so that I wasn't covering up anything important. And I decided to go with right over Doug's ugly face.
Wow. All right, I see you're gonna be the spicy one today. I told you
I'm
before the
spicy, baby. I ate barbecue in Texas.
But I don't know. Maybe Doug wins 100, and now I'm not calm anymore.
I mean, our bets are.
Don't really like when Doug wins 100. So, Doug comes into the match $674,000 in the black or in the green. I need to figure out which one that is. I usually go with the black. But Daniel Negreanu has some work to do, man. He has some work to do. I'm sure he would love to cut into that lead today. A $200,000 day would be really nice for Daniel Negreanu, I'm sure. And so far, from what we've seen, the stats show that Daniel's running pretty bad. But also, I'm sure that there are some mistakes that have been made that him and his team have gone over, and he's ready to get to work.
Yeah, how feasible do you think it is to come back from a 15, 16, 17 buy-in down swing whenever you are the supposed losing player?
I'll tell you what, I don't envy being in his shoes. I wouldn't want to be in those shoes, right? Like, you're down 17 buy-ins and you're up against one of the best to ever play the game in Doug Polk as it pertains to heads up, no limit hold'em. So
it's funny because tough. I've swung. Well, it was a positive swing, so I guess I don't know the other side of it. But I had a 14 big. I had multiple like 10 plus buy-in wins. It's single tabling, heads up. So like it's certainly feasible, but those were also like 12-hour sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And also against, I mean, I don't think I'm a good heads-up player, but I also think the people I was playing against aren't specialists.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing Doug Polk, it's just going to be a tough one, man. Like, he's working too, which is the problem too, right? Like, like a lot of people are saying, like, oh yeah, Daniel's getting better, but like Doug Polk's getting better too. Like, he's not just like sitting around on his hands, you know? So he's working, like he's seeing Daniel incorporate some like new bet sizes, and he's plugging those bet sizes into, you know, the software that he's putting in. He's seeing what mistakes he's doing versus those bet size, and he's readjusting. So both players are getting better. Uh, you know, I would love to be. Doug Polk, I'm sure feels great.
Do you think that this would be a bigger comeback than Gelfond's over Benevitti?
It would be. I think it would be a. So, yes. My simple answer is yes, because I think that the world cares more about this match. So it's like him coming back and winning would be massive. Whereas like Alphon coming back and winning versus a random person that nobody knows is like, it's great, but like it's not as impactful, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't mean to the poker world. I guess I just meant like as a tougher hill to climb. And the short answer probably should be yes. Phil was a favorite in that match, or at least he had bet on himself as the favorite. Granted, he was down more. They were also playing 200, 400, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was down an additional, 225K, give or take. So about, 6 buy-ins?
He was over, yes, like if we're calculating in buy-ins. If you're calculating in dollars, he was down over $1 million because
right.
they were in euros.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, so he was down effectively 6 more buy-ins than Daniel, but he was supposedly the odds-on favorite, where Daniel's a pretty favorable dog to begin with. I don't know how this shakes out, man. I don't know that he can make this rally.
Well, it has to start today, and Doug Polk does 3-bet on table number 2.
4-bet.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, 4-bet. And takes it down.
Okay, so this is valid. And I thought this might have been the case. The chat saying that they were playing 100, 200, not 200, 400.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But it is PLO, so there probably is some sort of exchange rate there, if you will. What'd she say?
We did see.
Wait, what did she have to say?
She said, "Come on, man, I can't really."
I mean, if you're gonna be reading text midstream, I need to know what she's asking.
It could just be one of my friends, It could just be a guy saying,
it could be
like, "Yo, I'm selling for this game. I'm selling for the main event, 1.35." Like, it could be any of those things. It doesn't have to be a thing like that.
Let me tell you what I'd be willing to pick my phone up for during a broadcast. If my emergency alert text message went off, that would be the one and only way that I think I would pick it up. And I have that alert set for maybe 4 people in my life, 3 of which I'd be concerned were dying, 1 of which I would be expecting a nude from.
Wow. Let's hear some names.
My nephew, of course.
Okay.
I'd be afraid that he was dying, especially considering his roommate has COVID for the 26th time.
I didn't even know you could get COVID more than once.
Well, if he's any indication, it's about a 3-month window between when you contract it the first time and when you can recontract it. Hell of a pivot, though. Well done.
Yeah, don't be going into my search, my inbox, man. All right, so we did see earlier Doug Polk use, while we were having a conversation, Doug Polk use. All right, well, we'll fast forward to this hand, and then I'll get back to that. So Daniel he in position raises pretty huge after facing the block bet. Takes it down after the check line on the turn. Probably might have had 7x, could have had some slow plays there with maybe don't really see, maybe ace queen, something like that. It seems unlikely though. Let's see this line. So we see a raise, call, as we're seeing the replay. Ace queen jack, This goes check. Big bet from Daniel. Call. Turn is going to go check, check. River goes block bet, raise. So this is often going to be a 7 or a bluff. Like, so nice line from Daniel there. It seems as if Berkey is frozen. It seems like his computer is rebooting. So he leaves me alone here, which is perfectly fine. Who wants him here anyway? I don't know. Big pot brewing on table number 2 as the turn comes an ace. Berkey's rejoining
What if I
us.
said you're never alone, Christian?
Oh, there we go. Look at this. It is great Torb.
I can't hear you now.
Oh,
I know
just
why.
out of thin air.
Yeah.
It's like it's magic. Like, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Good to join you guys.
Is this a permanent replacement?
I mean, Berkey said that he has to reboot his computer. It rebooted himself, so I guess I'll jump in here while he gets back. What a
I'm
guy.
back.
Ah,
Wow.
goodbye.
I was actually back for a few seconds. I just wanted to enjoy that.
So we see a big bet now in position from Doug, and he takes it down. Winner. Small bet from Doug on table number 1 gets called, turn 9. Doug's going to bet this board very high frequency.
What are you texting, man?
You know,
You can't get this kid on a call.
the world
for a
just
minute.
doesn't stop. The world doesn't stop because of Doug and Daniel, man. The world keeps going. Sometimes you gotta like.
Why don't you be
Yeah.
a normal person and put WhatsApp on your computer so we can't tell when you're obviously checked out?
Nah, man. I don't use WhatsApp. I use iMessage.
For the shorties.
I don't know about the shorties. Some people have to sell action. Some people have hand histories they need to tell me about, and it's a thing, man. You don't remember 5 years ago when I used to text you like, "Yo, I opened Jacks for $15," yeah, you know?
Yeah. You know when I would answer?
What?
When I wasn't busy.
Nah, you answer it all the time. Which is why I appreciated you.
I was probably
So-
just playing.
Doug doesn't go for the bluff with the Jack Nine of Hearts. Seems very good. And Daniel checks it back. All right. 3-bet. Well, they're moving, man. They're playing fast. It's like three. No, done.
Well, one of them wants to get these 25,000 hands in as fast as possible. That much I'm sure of.
What do you think that is?
Definitely Doug. I think at this pace, Daniel has to quit at 12-5.
Well, it depends. There's rumors that there's, money on the line for him that's significant. So maybe he'll just keep playing.
Right, but I'm just not sure how mathematically he could ever be in it if he's like down $1 million at the 12-5 mark.
Well, what price do you think he would need to be late?
I mean, maybe like 50 to 1.
Yeah.
Like I think
Maybe.
2%. I think 2% is probably in the ballpark. 2 to 5%.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably better chance
Well,
of Trump getting elected.
Hey, yo.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I mean, I guess that's like a discussion that his team is gonna have to have with him, right? Like how much can he come back? And then also like you have to remember like when Galfon was down like a pile, part of it was also like recouping some of the EV that you think you're in for, right? So like
Yeah.
so maybe he's not, if he's running bad, maybe he doesn't recoup the whole amount, but he recoups some, which is worth playing.
Yeah,
if you think you were running
for
way
Phil,
below EV.
Sure, for Phil, but like for Daniel, if he is the odds-on dog, and he's losing, somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 buy-ins at the halfway point, I'm not so sure that the expectation is that he's winning on the back end of the 12.5K hands.
Yeah.
So if he loses 25 buy-ins, but he's running, let's say, I don't know, 7 buy-ins below EV or something like that, it's like, okay, yeah, sure, you should have won. You should have lost less. And maybe he'll run 7 buy-ins above EV on the back end, but that still equates to him losing another 18 buy-ins.
Little crazy. Okay, so here on table number 2, we're going to see raise call, queen, queen, jack. Expect small betting from Doug. High frequency. There it is, 545, takes it down. I feel like a lot of the edge also is had in these like medium to like small pots, right? Like, it's not always just like the big showdowns that we see. Like obviously those make the highlight reel, but a lot of the edge is had in these like medium-sized pots too.
Yeah. I mean, I would love for somebody to put together a supercut of like all the sessions and kind of pluck out all the hands that are over, I don't know, let's say 50 bigs, where they put in at least 25 bigs each, or sorry, 25 bigs each. I would guess Daniel is winning, like, if I had to take a stab at it, he's probably winning like sub 25% of those pots.
You cut out for a second there. You said sub what?
Like 25% of those pots.
Okay. So on table 2, Daniel goes for the big bet size on the flop. Turn goes check, check. River ace, check. And Doug takes it down with 8. Interesting there. King Jack 10 on table number 2 after Doug goes with nice value bet from Daniel on table number 1. He goes with the block bet on the river with 3rd pair, maybe 4th pair actually. Takes it down. Overbet on the flop. So this is the second overbet we've seen from Doug. This board was King Jack 10 with a flush draw. The first board was actually Ace Jack 8 with a flush draw, and he's gone with the overbet on both those boards now. I saw a lot of that also on a previous session, one that I did with K-Rab, where it was a lot of like King 9-8. He went with the flop overbet. So Doug has incorporated a fair amount of flop overbet on these Broadway middle boards recently.
What do you think Daniel's bottom of defending range is on those types of textures?
So assuming we go with the King 9-8 board,
sure.
His bottom probably has to be something like a 9 with equity, with additional equity. So, or maybe almost any 9, right? I think a 9 is good enough. I think he probably has to continue with an 8 with a piece. So 8-10 probably is enough, because he's going to need some coverage if like the turn comes in 8. So yeah, I think he has to continue 9 or better, 8 with a piece, and then obviously anything better than that.
Yeah, I wonder how much like backdoor equity type stuff he's calling with in those particular instances. So like on King 9-8, Ace 10, Ace Jack, Ace Queen feel like pretty intuitive calls. Obviously he's not going to have very much Ace Queen in that spot, but like how much I guess like, yeah, everything's a draw. So it's not that challenging to figure out. I guess what I was getting at is like how much ace deuce through ace seven with a backdoor is he peeling there?
Yeah, I think he probably just has to let that go.
Yeah.
Seems pretty hard to like continue with those hands.
So
So
check
here we
raise
see,
here.
yeah, call river king. So both players saying they have something pretty good here.
I expect Doug to only be checking and shoving here. I can't really foresee any other. Like a block bet doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Daniel's range should pretty much only consist of showdown value at this point.
Oh, straight versus a flush. That's a big
Yeah.
pop for. It sucks. Like you have 7 with the 7 of club. Like you have 7-9 with the club. Like you kind of
Yeah.
just have to call that hand.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. There are just going to be hands that stack off, and it's shitty to be on the wrong side of it, but that's heads up poker.
Heads up, no limit, hold 'em. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything Daniel can do there. It seems like a pretty standard cooler.
Yeah, I think we get like a little bit overly critical about those types of spots because it's like, oh, you just had a straight and a bigger straight came and a flush was there on the turn, and it's like, yeah, but like all that really matters is that you have a really, really, really high up hand in your range, and you unblock the potential for him to be bluffing with worse. The
So,
King
table
River, I think,
number-
is a little problematic though. Good.
Sorry, moving over to table number 2. It went bet on the flop, turn big bet size, and over bet on the river from Daniel on the jack of diamonds takes it down. So a little bit of a small recovery there for Daniel after he was the triple.
Do you think Doug is still shoving when he's turn bluffing with like a piece and the king of clubs? So say, or maybe
No.
not. Yeah, say he's like king jack with the king of clubs.
No, I don't think so.
He just gives up with the check, right?
It just goes with the check, I think.
Yeah, I'm like wondering what his bluffs are on that river. Not saying that Daniel should play the 9-7-8 differently. It just calls off, obviously, but it seems like a difficult spot to construct.
Yeah, I would have to see the exact board again, but maybe like the queen jack or something. I remember.
Yeah, it was
the queen
ace 10, 8-6, river king.
Yeah, it feels like queen jack seems natural there to try.
Queen jack's straight.
Ace 10. Oh yeah, river
8-6,
king.
river king.
So jack 9. Yeah.
Yeah, with a club, I guess.
Yeah, seems fine.
Yeah.
It's worse than queen jack, which is even better. So
Yeah,
It's kinda
probably
nice.
lower frequency check raise on the turn though.
yeah, check raising the turn is difficult there. Yeah, it's a difficult spot to like find the bluffs and then follow through on exactly the king, like you mentioned.
Yeah, it makes me kind of wonder like how much of this is now delving into the realm of exploitative, right? So when Daniel follows through with that 75% on the 10 of clubs specifically, how much of that has Doug seen him do light versus with hands that can withstand a check raise? And if it's the latter, has Doug reduced his bluff frequency there to near zero in a spot where his bluff frequency is already going to be pretty close to zero? Like he's just not check raising that hand, or sorry, he's not check raising that card at a super high frequency. I don't think for 75%.
Yeah, that's one of the conversations that when we had K-Rab on, he basically said, heads up, no limit. It's mostly exploitative. Like the people that think that it's just GTO versus GTO are just not. They don't live in this world,
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of it is just like exploiting your opponent and finding the spots, like you're mentioning. And I think that's true. I mean, he lives in that planet. So when he says it, I kind of tend to believe it. And just from the history of Doug, I think we've gotten to know more and more that, he did come from an exploitative background. It wasn't like he was a GTO player his whole life. Like, I think this has probably been the most solver he's ever used in his career, in this match. So
Yeah, I think that's
so he's coming from a background of playing exploitative poker, and I'm sure that he's using it as he should in this match.
Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty fair. I just wondered to what degree of accuracy, I guess. That was really more of what I was posing. Oh, shit. My man Malikabu in the chat. What up? Haven't seen him here in a while. Probably out there on that circuit grind as we speak. Guys, if you didn't see it, we put a poll up in the chat. Just whether or not you think Daniel is going to quit at the 12.5K mark if he's down 25 buy-ins. Smash a yes or no. Let us know. Right now, yes is trending, plus 65%. Also, if you haven't already, smash that like button. Give us a little love. Maybe even go leave a comment on the last video. I don't know. I don't know. We're just trying to get the ball rolling, you know? We're trying to keep up with the Ingrams of the world. We may or may not have a roommate right now in this house doing commentary on another stream. I'm just saying. It's happening.
That actually is pretty crazy, actually. So two streams are running in this house.
I was trying to figure out like why you're a little bit why you're like cutting in and out a little bit, and I may be cutting in and out a little bit to you as well. But yeah, the Wi-Fi is getting taxed.
Yeah, the fucking Ingram stream and the Software Y stream are running in the same house.
Yeah.
Like, this is literally the poker house of the internet poker house. Like everything that goes on, it's like in this house. It's
2020 is a weird year.
Yeah, who would have thought? The fucking Software Y house. I think that's clearly biased to Doug Polk. It's a fucking cat show for Doug Polk.
Well, I'll never understand that meme. I don't know anything about it. I think it's one of the silliest things I've ever seen. Cat Jam or whatever.
I can't do it, man. So 3-bet from Doug Polk, call from Daniel, Jack 9-2. Expect rather. Oh, he goes with the check. Okay. After the check, I assume this card is rather neutral for both players. After the flop goes check. I think both players have some king queen. I think both players have tens. I think both players have 9-10.
This is a 3-bet pot, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure Daniel has a lot of king queen. I think he's pretty heavily incentivized to bet small on flop with king queen. I'm not saying he never checks it back, but I would expect him to have more 7-8 as this is played out. Perhaps some 9x. Which is in line with the small bet on the turn. A hand like 9-8, queen 9, 9-10. Those are going to feel comfortable after getting checked to twice. Oh, Doug just has the super nuts.
Yeah.
And I think his hand on the flop is probably just a bet.
I mean, I'm sure he's like
Mixing.
betting that sometimes. Yeah, like he's not gonna do it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, kind of whatever.
I'm pretty sure like his hand does feel like a pretty high frequency bet. He probably just like rolled a low number in that spot, which is whatever.
I think checking the turn is a little bit interesting to me. Oh, we have a big spot here as Daniel 4 bets.
Wow.
These are the pots that like notoriously I feel like he's just not winning enough.
I have my money on him on this one.
I would hope so.
Not that I'm stepping out on the limb, but the board is 8-3 deuce. And
I mean, like he should win this pot a lot. We've seen Doug like make some. So we've seen Doug make some small check raises on relatively dry textures like this. I think if we see him check raise here ever, he's never folding. Man, this is just even more favorable to Daniel. So we see this card go check a lot from Daniel's shoes, but in theory, this should just be an all-in, probably at a pretty high frequency.
Yeah, I think this bet's kind of cool though.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just forces like another light defend. Daniel projects, yeah.
What calls the turn that wouldn't call a shove though?
Like ace 4, ace 5, maybe like.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really small bet. It was 6 into 30.
I understand. It's just kind of like we're running out of road.
Running out of cards.
Yeah, well, we're also running out of road. Like it's like it's only 6K, but it's also a third of his stack.
Yeah. So 3-bet, and then the big bet from Daniel takes it down. Let's go, Daniel. Let's go. Start catching some heat up in here. Fucking Doug Polk can't make us fucking flush every hand.
I would really love it to see Daniel start using some, maybe some non-agreed upon sizing. He did go to the 20% this is about 25, I guess. But we did see a lot of like 20%ing, especially in 4-bet pots, which I think is kind of cool. But I also think it's one of those things that people have been doing. I'd love to see him like kind of stretch that spectrum a little bit further. Maybe some 10% pots here and there. I can think of a few specifically that would garner it. But really, I'd like, and it's funny, I kind of had a conversation with him before the day he accepted the challenge. And what I suggested was that he studied some of the extreme bet sizes that Pluribus used, and just kind of figure out like what the natural intuition was for when Pluribus was choosing these ridiculous sizes like 10x pot and things of that nature. And I'd like to see a little bit more of that if possible, assuming it's not just a parlor trick, right? Like assuming that he and his team have the means to study into that. It would be great to see some non-intuitive sizings, some 4x pots, some 7x pots, things of that nature that are going to give Doug trouble. Now, granted, they're going to be low frequency plays, but I think we're getting to the point now, much like for anybody who's seen the movie AlphaGo, where the human needs to start looking for that 1 in 10,000 shot move in order to kind of turn things around.
Doug goes for pot on the turn, table number 1, takes it down. Yeah, I could see that, and we have seen some from Doug, right? He's gone with the 5x pot, those huge overbets on the river in situations where it's extremely rare for Daniel to have the nuts, but possible for Doug to have the nuts. He's also doing like some flop overbets, which is not a common thing. So Doug's definitely mixing up his sizing very well.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to generalize how a heads-up match is going, but from my personal observation, which is obviously heavily biased, what I see is that Doug is playing rivers significantly better, in my opinion, than Daniel is. And it almost appears like a lot of Daniel's work has gone into pre-flop and flop. So as best I can notice, anecdotally speaking, Doug 4-bets at a lower frequency than Daniel does. And Doug kind of, I don't want to say overly complicates his c-bet strategy, but basically he's employing a more complex flop strategy, which is then simplifying his decisions later on in the hand, or at least giving him more versatility. Where for Daniel, it seems like a lot of nuances going into his pre-flop strategies. We see him 4-bet again on this left table, table 1. It seems like a lot of focus is going in on these hyper-aggressive pre-flop ranges that is then diluting street by street, right? Like the flop strategy is very simple. It's 25% or 75%. The turn strategy becomes very simple in that it seems like it's mostly like 75% or check. And then on rivers, we're just like on an island.
Ace 10-3 rainbow. He goes with roughly quarter pot on the flop after the 4-bet pre. Doug will have a lot of peels here. King Jack, Queen Jack, King Queen, Ace X's that peeled, hands like Ace Queen off, etc.
Especially rainbow board.
Yeah, turn 7 of spades. Daniel still has hands like Ace King. He can have pocket 10s. Another one of these like fifth pot sizings on the turn. It does set up an all-in on the river if this board bricks off. Check raise on table number 2. That is not necessarily a brick though, but I still think Ace King with a spade is still good enough to go. And he's all in. Aces.
Wow.
Wow.
Hello.
Nice pop for Daniel Negreanu there. Aces with a spade, kind of a fist pump spot. Gets snapped off by ace 8 of hearts. Unblocking king queen, queen jack, king jack. Maybe hands also like king 5. That might be 4-betting pre as well. Yeah, big pot for Daniel Negreanu there. That's gonna propel
He's involved
him.
in another one on the right. So this was check raise on the flop, jack 7 deuce 2 clubs. Turn 6, Daniel bets 75% pot. We land on the river with 1.5 SPR. Daniel goes 75% again and takes it down. What do you think about that river sizing? As it did represent about 40% of his stack. Sizings like that are always very awkward to me because of the SPR that you're laying yourself when you get shoved on.
Yeah, but it also like kind of cool too, because if he's airing, like effectively, if he's airing, he loses less. Like when he gets snapped, and he maybe thinks that Doug lands with like a pretty inelastic range. Like when Doug just has a jack, like he's never gonna fold. Period. So he just like kind of saves some money, I think, when he's airballing.
Yeah, it's weird because the hand played so quickly that I find it kind of like it felt like a pre-programmed line. I think that like your point is very valid, but you have to be very precise or calibrated on what parts of your opponent's range are calling, what parts of your opponent's range are folding. Because there will always be a rather price sensitive portion, like the ace highs, the small pairs, things of that nature that you can't really account for. So the better price you lay, obviously, the more likely you get called by them.
Table 1, Daniel goes with the big size on 953, which I think is very good. He takes it down. Daniel on a little bit of a roll here.
It's so funny the difference between how their coolers look. Like when Doug cools Daniel off, it's just like, flush first straight. It happens. It's unfortunate. Whatever. When Daniel cools Doug off, it's like Doug had top pair for like a bluff catcher that was very specific and had to unblock all of Daniel's potential bluffs and everything. Daniel just has like top set with the nut blocker.
Yeah, that's true. 40% from Daniel, king 9-5. So he's incorporated some 40% sizing, some 25% sizing, some roughly 80% sizings on the flop so far. I think that's pretty good. He goes 75% on this river on table number 1. After this check down, takes it down.
SP says, you mentioned about Doug overbetting on these dynamic textures. Does this allow D-Negs to play perfectly? I guess he gets him to fold some small pairs or bottom pairs with no equity. What do you think? It could potentially allow Daniel to play better if Daniel was making mistakes against another size. It's not going to allow him to play perfectly. He's definitely still going to overfold, or he's likely to overfold, I should say.
Well, the other part of the equation of that overbet is that he also just has to pay maximum with hands that have to continue. So
right
on the board, I think we said king 9-8. Like if he has a 9, like if he has 9-10, he can't fold. But now he has to pay a huge number to see the turn. Whereas like if Doug was just betting, 30% pot, like it's a really comfortable situation. Also, if he catches Daniel with a hand like king 5, now king 5 is threatening like maybe we get stacked now with king 5 if we get too sticky on future turns and rivers pending runouts.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's a spot.
On the flop though, those hands are still playing quote unquote perfectly because they're just inelastic to size for the most part. But your point's very valid that it can lead to much larger mistakes turn and river, which is why I'm saying Doug's more complex flop strategy is allowing him to just outmaneuver Daniel in most river spots.
Overbet from Doug on table number 2 after the board straightens out. Players effectively have to think who has more 10x in range.
Do you need a jack in Doug's spot to do that, or do you think you're just free to do it in a spot where your opponent lacks the 10x coverage?
I think the latter is more important.
Yeah.
So table number 1, king 10-5. Doug went with like roughly 2/3. Turn jack check. This is a 3-bet pot. Turn check check.
It's an interesting card for both ranges, really. Doug should have a massive ace-queen advantage, but Daniel is going to have a lot of very strong bluff catchers, so it's difficult to just go off with hands that don't have relative blockers. And having an ace blocker here in Doug's shoes isn't really all that important since Daniel's not going to possess much ace-queen anyway. I think for Doug to follow through on turn, you want to be able to more so block like the king, queen 9 perhaps. Yeah, I'm not confident that you're earning a ton of folds on the turn. This is good, I think. I'm not sure what Daniel's value betting. I imagine whatever it is should probably be calling at a high frequency.
Wow, another cooler.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's another cooler for Daniel. Rivers 2-pair. Doug was trapping with top set.
Doug's turn check is interesting to me. I think that's probably one of the good hands that can continue betting.
But it also has like some like negative properties in that, like when you have king there, you kind of block your opponent's call down range. So I think mixing some check is kind of nice.
Yeah, I guess that's fair because when you bet, you probably want to lean large, and that hand isn't really incentivized to do that. I was just thinking in terms of other hands of like comparable strength, like a hand like King Jack. I feel like you'd rather big bet, or not necessarily big bet, but you'd rather bet kings than King Jack, just given the board locking aspects of it.
Mm-hmm. So that pot is now going to bring Doug Polk as the small winner. Players are roughly tied. Doug's up $5,000. Things on table number 1 now are like a little bit deep. We might see a 150K pot on table number 1 before it's all said and done.
Didn't see how we got to the river. Yeah, I didn't see how we got to the river on this one.
I hope Daniel got to the river with 10s full. Nope. Nice hand for Doug. Nice give up for Daniel, as he would have got snapped. Overbet on table number 1. The action's going so fast. We see a replay here of the last hand we saw on table number 2. 3-bet pot. King 10-3. Small bet. Call. Third pot from Daniel. Check, check. So probably a hand like potentially a weaker king, potentially a strong 10 playing in that way.
Strong 10 makes sense. I feel like a king probably has to value bet river.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a check back there with King X is pretty weak. But then again, it would be in alignment with, kind of this gun-shy nature on rivers.
Why you always throw shots like that? This gun-shy nature. Like, he's not gun-shy. He's fine. Like,
you say that. I don't know, man. We've watched 7,000 hands now, and I feel like rivers have played very one-sidedly.
3/4 pot from on both sides. Daniel takes it down on table number 2. Table number 1. Good card for Daniel. After the flop went check check. Sorry. Yes. River 9. I believe Daniel can now bet pretty much all 10x's, potentially even a river 9 for this size. Maybe ace 5. Obviously a 3 can go for this size as well. Comes to raise. Duck can definitely have 3x, can have maybe a 9's full, maybe an ace 10 mixed check back, which is going to be not common. Doug Polk takes it down. two big stacks brewing on table number 1, 65,000 for Daniel and 90,000. So the opportunity is there, as they say. Jack 10 deuce, table number 2. Small bet, third pot from Doug. Turn 3 of spades. Doug can have some bluffs here. 8-7, 8-9, Queen 9. He'll want to have some hands that also don't contain a spade as a bluff, so that when 4 spades fill, he can find some bluffs there as well. But action does go check, check. And this is generally going to favor Daniel as played, and he does come with the roughly 2/3 sizing. He can have a strong 10. He can have any jack. Takes it down. I want to see Daniel win today, Dan. I want to see him win.
He had just won 2 in a row prior to the last one.
Yeah, but I want to see a big win, like 200,000, like something like exotic.
Yeah, I think that if we keep up this pace of coolers, it's definitely going to be possible.
Yeah, let's get some coolers Daniel's way. Ace versus Kings, table 1. Kings versus Queens, table 2. Boom. Get a little Doug on tilt a little bit. You know?
We haven't seen very much all-in pre's.
Yeah. It's more rare than people think, actually. Like, it's one of the things that K-Rab was talking about when he was here. It's like, all-in pre's don't happen that much. Like, they're kind of rare. Overall, like, amount of hands that happen.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that people just like most of the hands that they would consider 5-bet shoving as a bluff are just better served as a call, just due to the price that they're being laid. And we kind of saw that. Not that Ace-8 of Hearts would be a great 5-bet shove hand out of Doug, but like it probably wasn't even considered. It was just clearly a call.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then
you see like tens mix in a call. You see ace queen off mix in calls. Like these are hands that maybe a couple years ago people would just like always stack it. But
yeah,
now you like when they're running the solves, they see like these hands are mixing in calls, so it becomes a little bit trickier. Big bet size from Daniel on table number 1, 9-3-2 takes it down. Now we see 9-8-3. Table number 2. Doug with the original raising position comes in with the flop overbet, takes it down. I don't know, man. I'm gonna fucking start flop overbetting people at fucking 5-10 at Bellagio. I'll tell you that. I don't know. Let's go. Just let's go. Let's dance. You want to coming in with the heat?
They'll just fold.
That's okay.
They just always fold until they have it, and then you're fucked.
Nah, I'm gonna have on the 9-8-3. I'm just gonna have the queen jack, baby. Just come in with the flop overbet. They call, turn, dust, overbet again, call, 10. Like Yahtzee.
Gotta nail that 10. Very critical.
You gotta nail the 10. Or you just nail the queen and it goes check check, and they show you ace 9.
Yeah.
Then they're tilted.
My problem is I always go for thin value when that queen rolls off, and they were just slow playing a set the whole way, and I get ripped on.
Well, yeah, you have to check. You saw how quickly I said check check.
Yeah, they just have like jack 10.
Yeah, it's just like river queen check check. Like it's just easy.
Man, such a good hand though.
And it's relative to the action before, Burke.
Yeah, that's
you went overbet. Like it's not a good hand anymore.
No, that's true.
That was a quick break from Daniel. He's back. I think this match has been relatively even so far. Like, I think both players are playing pretty well. I don't think we've seen any like errors.
Yeah, I mean,
from
most of the money being exchanged seems to have just been coolers.
Pretty safe board on both sides from the original Razors. Check from Daniel on table 2, which is rare on this kind of a board. After the small bet size, Doug goes with a follow through of roughly 2/3. Gets called again. Daniel will still have some ace highs on this river that would find folds. Let's see what Doug goes for. Check down. Queen 7. Seems standard from Doug. I mean, from both players. But yes, definitely standard from Doug, standard from Daniel. They're in the mix, man. I feel like some days I feel as if things are brewing, you know? Things are brewing. Like, right now, things are calm. It's just like, okay, jab, jab, jab. But then, like, as this goes on, someone's going to catch a cut on the left eye, and then things are going to start, you know? That's what's going to happen.
I don't even know that it's all that calm. We've already seen 3 coolers, essentially. 2 going against Daniel.
So, pot size bet on the turn on table number 1. Sorry. River comes a queen.
Always an awkward river after you pot the turn.
Yes. Yeah. So goes pot again. If you're Daniel, you're here thinking, I have a queen, I say. Takes it down. Nice hand. Nice hand for him on table number 2 as he has trip 4s. Takes another one down. Cutting into the lead.
Rick's Rookie says, just tuning in, are all the sessions known but Hold'em, or are they adding in some mixed games? Everything will be no limit. Rick, thanks for joining us. Brock wants to know if D-Negs has backers. I highly doubt it. The man has made quite the amount of wealth playing the 2-card Hold'em game.
Honestly, like, yeah, I mean, there's not many people that have made more from poker, both from the game and from sponsorship. Like,
yeah,
like that combination for Daniel, he might be up there in most earnings of all time, you know, in terms of the combination of both. He's like kind of like Michael Jordan or some shit. You know?
Yeah, I will say I think Antonio Esfandiari has been given the most amount of money to do absolutely nothing in his career. Like, he's been an ambassador for like 6 different things and has never had to make one single public statement in his entire life. It's pretty wild.
You know, he just smiles to the camera, man. The guy just knows how to make it happen. The guy just shows up.
Like, does anybody know that he's a Poker Go sponsor?
Nah, I think people know. He wears Poker Go a lot.
Where?
He wears Poker Go. He wears Aria. Like, I see.
Where? He doesn't fucking play.
Nah, come on, man. He was just on. He was just on. With
you know, the high stakes poker season comes up. We get a little soft spot against Helmuth heads up. Like, yeah, that stuff comes up. Sure, but
it's about table selection, man. Come on, man. You know this. Like, he finds the spots, man. The guy just knows. Another one. These guys have made a lot of money, man. These guys, one drop, you know, like, these guys are legends, man.
Very, very good timing, indeed. Like, to be a big name already and then just like win the first $1 million buy-in. Can't script it.
It's nice. I mean, a lot of people also forget Daniel took second in a 1 drop. Also took second in Super High Roller Bowl. Like, this is
Mhm.
no joke. Like, these are tough things. Like, it's not easy to just like rip off these big scores. Like, 3-bet pot on table number 1. Great board for Doug Polk.
Actually, Chris Antonio's down 3-0 versus Helmuth, but who's counting?
Yeah, that's fine.
Amir
Helmuth.
asks how I rate Kaki T as a commentator. He thinks he's the nuts. I haven't watched too much of the GG coverage. I like Kaki T though. I did like a 5-hour long podcast with him one day, which went way past what I thought the end time was going to be.
I think Kekiti is he's cool. I like that he takes shots at Doug.
Yeah, he seems like he's relatively knowledgeable with heads up. I'm not really sure to what degree, but he has an online background, so I imagine he's looked at the spots.
Half pot from Doug and takes it down on the 4 flush board after the 3-bet. Remaining on table number 1. Still on table number 1. We're going for it. Table number 1 is something's gonna happen. So let's see what kind of sizing Daniel picks here. Goes with the small one. Takes it down. Yeah, I think the coverage has been pretty phenomenal in terms of like players can kind of count on 4 different streams covering this match every night, which is just kind of unheard of. Like there hasn't been 4 platforms covering anything ever. Like maybe the main event you'll have the Germans covering stuff in their own language and stuff like that, but you wouldn't have 4 American channels covering a match every night. It's just pretty insane.
Yeah, I think that number 1, Andre may have died on the control, which would be unfortunate. Welcome back, Andre. And yeah, number 2, I think that our community desperately needs more of this type of stuff. It's unfortunate. It's both fortunate and unfortunate that PokerGo became an entity when it did, for a couple of reasons. It's very fortuitous in the sense that poker lends itself to content creation, and we were leaning in that direction when PokerGo became a company in 2016, I believe. But it's kind of unfortunate in the sense that we didn't grassroots things, so the collaborative efforts aren't really there. You don't see a lot of these types of events being broadcast by a ton of different channels. I think that, especially with COVID being what it is right now, there was a lot of opportunity for all content creators to get out there and do this type of commentary, do hand reviews, do dissection of spots and all this other stuff. But the problem is PokerGo kind of swept up all the action, or swept up. Swept up. They took all of the opportunity in the regard of the WPT on Party Poker and the GG events and all that other stuff. They just hosted the final tables themselves, and so now it's a lot less incentivized for anybody else to do it. And I also think it's pretty difficult to do it too.
Sorry to cut you off. We're gonna go move over to table number 2. We'll get back to that statement because it's a big pop brewing. So this is a 4-bet pot, small bet size from Daniel on the flop. Turn goes check, check. River comes an ace. So this is 4-bet, small bet, check, check, turn.
I would think Daniel would have a lot of bluff catchers here. Jack X, pocket pairs. Hello, that's the nuts.
Top house for Doug Polk. Good no bet from Daniel to not fire that river. It would have been over. So here we've seen overbet often from Doug on King 9-7 on table number 2. Curious if he goes with it again. He does. Takes it down. That's going to be a spot where, I'm sure that they're looking at it, but the Daniel team's going to have to analyze that spot a lot because it seems like that's the go-to sizing at a high frequency for Doug on those spots.
Yeah. Yeah, on the rainbow textures too, you're just being denied a lot of equity there. He's going to have a lot of like Jack 10, Queen Jack that just isn't peeling, which is fine if you have enough of the other hands, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Now you might have to, like, once you stop peeling those hands, you might have to start reaching now down into more of your 7X, more of your ace highs, that type of thing. Or you might just have to live with the fact that you're not going to meet MDF or come anywhere close.
753 on number 2. Roughly 85% takes it down. Queen Jack 9, check, check, flop. Turn 40% from micro stakes on the 4-liner. Call. Ace. Given the sizing on the turn, I believe that Doug's probably betting a fair amount of 2-pair. This ace, not sure he's betting any more bottom 2, so he does size up a little bit. Takes it down. 3-bet pot on table number 2. Daniel goes with the small size. This does allow Doug to peel all gut shots, which he probably would anyway. Good card for Daniel. 4-5 does fill, though. Both players probably have that, however. Doug probably has it a little bit more. Daniel goes with the check. Generally, this action will favor Daniel. After the turn goes check, check. Daniel goes with the check again. Daniel will have like 9-8. Takes it down. Micro stakes takes it down. Jack 10.
The old nuts.
3-bet pot on table number 1. Monotone board. Small bet size from Daniel.
I think these are kind of okay spots to start utilizing that like 10%, maybe at some frequency. Perhaps not on such a dynamic monotone board where there's so much in the way of straight draws. And yeah, maybe there isn't any function to it in a heads-up match where ranges are just naturally pretty wide. But
almost $10,000 bet from Daniel on table number 1. Takes it down on table number 2 as well. Daniel did use the very small bet size on table number 2. Ace, King, 6, all diamonds. He went for the min bet on the flop. He tried to appease you.
I think that's probably a much better texture for it. So kudos to Daniel. He is working that size in there a little bit. And yeah, it is a little bit on the rare side that we see it used, but Ace King X monotone is a pretty
all
good
in from Daniel. Takes it down. I didn't want to cut you off, but all in. I had to say something. It was the first pre-flop all-in we've seen. But go ahead, continue.
I don't have anything else to say. Just yeah. I'm sitting back and enjoying the show.
This is the show of COVID-19. Heads up, no limit hold'em for souls, for bankrolls, 3-bet pot on table number 1, all in on table number 2. Previously, of course, not now, but it's on, man. It's fucking on. Like, there's heads up battles everywhere. Like Daniel's out here with Polk, fucking Vanessa Cade is out there with Blitz. Like, shit's going down. Shit is going down. It's going
How long until there's just a channel on Twitch or YouTube that is just covering action above a certain stake? So like when a Stars 50, 100 heads up game or even 6-max game goes off, somebody's just there covering it like a sporting event.
It can happen, you know. It can happen anytime. Like, there could be like, and all of a sudden, like Bellagio 50, 100 pops off. Like someone's out there, you know, with the camera, just like ready to go, you know, like Periscope and shit. Like, whatever happened to Periscope? They sold that shit to Twitch, I think, right? Something.
Twitter, I think.
Oh yeah, to Twitter. Yeah, like that's it. People ready to go. People want to see. They want the inside scoop.
I've still yet to see a fleet. I don't know what the fuck it is.
A fleet? It's like an Instagram story, but on Twitter.
But where are they?
They're at the top, at the top of the screen.
Nah,
They're literally it's the exact thing as an Instagram story. Like where where the Instagram stories are, that's where they are on Twitter on the fleets. Like they're at the top of the page in a little circle. Same thing.
I gotta tell you, I don't see them.
They hacked the code.
I personally don't see them, but then again, I'm on desktop most of the time.
Oh no, it's not on desktop. It's only on mobile.
Good. Keep it that way.
Yeah. Nice pop from Douglas K. Polk. You know, I bet you his K is Kevin. He looks like a Kevin. Like his K is 100% Kevin.
I don't even know what that means, man.
Bro, you didn't have like a Kevin in your school?
Nah, I don't know any
All right,
Kevins.
well, all the Kevins have that hair. Trust me. Like,
that's a
all the
Kevin haircut.
Yeah, if you're a Kevin in like the early 2000s, like you have that haircut for sure.
Right.
It's just, it is what it is. Like,
yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you, man.
Nothing against the haircut.
To all the Kevins out there in the world, Chin has something to say to you.
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying the early 2000 Kevins were sporting that look. It is what it is. Like, it's cool. Like, it's fine.
I hear you.
Right. So Doug is back up to $55,000 in profit. So far, so 3-bet pop from Daniel, table number 1. Table number 2, small bet, ace 9 8 of diamonds. Should expect like a fair amount of bets here. Jack 10, 6 7, 6 5. Check. Daniel can have a 9. Daniel can have a king. Can have an 8. Another check. I think Daniel can bet. Okay, I was gonna say Daniel can bet up to I think like a 9 is probably any 9 is probably a bet.
Yeah.
Turn 40% from Daniel after the flop goes check. 8 of diamonds. 4 lining the board. I expect if Daniel bets, it's probably going to be rather small. Is it? Doug wins with the 10. Checks it back on the flop. I think that's pretty cool. One of the weaker 10s in his range, if not the weakest.
Was that check on the turn or no?
Check flop. Daniel goes with 40% on the turn. Doug open.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if he's supposed to turn his hand into a bluff on the river.
He has top pair though.
No. Daniel with the 3 deuce.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, he leads like 40% turn. I guess the 8 completes a lot. But what else is he gonna have? Everything else gets there. His 8x, his 6-7, his queen jack, his ace highs aren't gonna really bluff turn or river, I guess. 3 deuce seems like it might be okay.
Just roll it, baby. Just roll it.
I wonder how many situations occur where, like, in theory we have bluffs, but in practice we just don't. And the we in this instance is, you know, either one of these players or maybe the population as a whole. Like, I wonder if that exact spot, Daniel just literally never has a bluff on river.
Bro, there's probably a bunch of spots like that. Who knows?
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like we could probably theorize and say, like, oh, yeah, well, if you got to the river with this subset of hands, they're supposed to bluff. But, like, then we just find one of those hands that gets to the river, and it's like, oh, well, I rolled low that time.
That's the new thing. I rolled low, man. What do you want me to do? Chop it up on table number 2. I rolled high, so I popped off with it. Okay. What are you?
You know, all this talk about Kevin's, and Dolak, what up? My man Solo Dolo in the chat says Kevin's wears socks with sandals. That feels like a really accurate description. But all this talk about Kevin's, it dawns on me that K-Rab's first name is Kevin.
Yeah, look at his hair. What do you want me to do, man? No offense, I love K-Rab, but his hair is a little bit, like, interesting, you know? Like, he got the hair, like, a little bit to the side with, like, the comb over. Fucking makes, like, apple fucking cinnamon toast for breakfast from scratch. Like,
you're gonna have to ask him if he wears socks with sandals.
I'm gonna text him right now. Yo, fam, you wear socks with sandals at the beach? He's gonna be like,
not at the beach, man. Don't be ridiculous. Even Kevin's take their socks off at the beach.
You know who are the worst? The ones that wore socks with sandals, but the sandals that had like the toe separation, but they still wore they still wore the socks with those.
Yeah, those people are psychopaths.
I hated those people.
Absolute psychopaths. 215 votes on whether or not we think D-Negs will quit at the halfway mark if down 25 buy-ins. Right now, it is slightly leaning yes. 57% are saying yes. That's a bold statement.
I don't think he's gonna quit, man.
I don't think he's gonna quit either. I think he should quit. I don't think he will.
Overbet from Daniel Negreanu. He says no quit here. If Phil Goffon can do it, I can do it. Takes it down. Big bet from Daniel on table number 2. 3 bet from Daniel on table number 1. Let's go, Daniel. Let's fucking go.
It's a big bet on table 2. He does not have it.
Well, they both had it. Daniel had trip jacks, and Doug had a flush.
What was SPR behind? Was it more than a pot? I'm just wondering if Doug could have ripped there.
The king high flush. Of course he could have ripped.
Well, he chose not to, so I guess I'm looking for reasons as to why.
Well,
we'll never know.
We'll never know. Maybe he'll do it in his post-game interview. Maybe he'll come to Sulphur Wide to do the post-game interview today.
Maybe we can get him on Poker Out Loud.
That would be fun. Doug Polk, you are formally invited to Poker Out Loud. This is a platform where you put your headphones on and you discuss your thought process of why you don't shove with the king high flush sometimes. You probably rolled low, which is fine. And I don't know.
It'd be like
it's not heads up. So I know that, maybe you'll feel a little bit, uneasy.
It would be like him doing a video of poker hands, only minus the jokes.
Yeah. I used to like poker hands, honestly. It was all right. Like I thought it was like a good it was entertaining for some of them. Like some of them were like a little bit too much, but like generally there was a good concept, I thought. Yeah. I feel like you were on poker hands way too much.
Poker hands, poker guys. Anybody who wants to be a critic, basically, they're gonna get plenty of material out of me.
Mm-hmm. Poker hands. I'm gonna grab some water. I will let you take the reins for a small bit. You can be the captain of the ship.
Yeah. Get out of here. This thing's about to get lit.
Oh my god. Hold on.
All right, now that we lost Christian, we can get real. What do you guys want to talk about? I want to know what's going on in his phone. I mean, we see guys exchanging 6 figures here in a heads-up match. Nobody loves poker or poker analysis more than Christian Soto. So for him to be distracted by a text message tells me that there might have been some possible shit going on, where the reason his phone was in his crotch for the entirety of the stream is that he had some ladies sending them their naughty bits. That for those of you who aren't up on it, that's what Posse was claiming his defense was for having the phone in his lap. What up, Chin? Welcome back. Get yourself a little Truly. Is that a little Truly I see?
This was a really large one, actually.
It's funny that the blur of your background actually blurs the name of the drink.
Yeah, man.
Like it's intentional. We can't advertise.
Can't advertise, bro. I'm almost gonna start taping the side of my headphones so they don't know what brand it is.
Respect.
That way, no free promotion. Unless it's Google. If Google wants to, fire off a little bit to us, I think we'll be all right. Okay, 3-bet pot on table number 1, then a check. Ace 7-3. Interesting. Guess he'll mix in some check with kings, queens, jacks. Another check from Daniel. Double check. Hopefully that's a bake for Daniel. Unless he had queens, then he's like, come on. 3/4 bet. I mean, he does have a fair amount of ace-x. He could have, by fair amount, I mean ace deuce, things like that he 3-bet.
Yeah.
And then on this river, King 7.
The old King 7. You didn't know about that one. Didn't even see it coming.
How much do you I don't know how much 3-betting goes with King 7. It's probably fine. I just wonder what kind of number he's rolling with King 7,
I'll tell you this much. It's a lot more than you or I would intuitively think. That's for sure.
So you think he's rolling 50?
No, but probably like somewhere between 25 and 35.
Yeah, that seems fair. That seems yeah.
Yeah, when I looked at heads up charts, I was kind of surprised at how aggressively out of position plays.
Get him, Daniel. Let's fucking go. Cut into that lead. By the time I'm done with this, truly, allegedly, my man Daniel's gonna be winning today.
Milky Cereal says you looking slim today.
You?
No, you.
I'm wearing black. I did only have one meal today, but it was a bad meal. It was alright. It tasted great.
I saw it. It was bad. It was bad enough that I liked everything about it and didn't ask for any.
It's alright. I wasn't gonna give you any. Alright. I would have given you some, man. Don't worry. I got you.
Couldn't. I've been up since 7 o'clock this morning, man. I was on the grind. Woke up, jumped in my 45-degree pool.
I know. You fucking documented it all on Instagram.
Yeah. That's just a Tuesday, man. It's just a fucking Tuesday.
Do you document on Instagram to motivate people?
I just want to give them a little reminder of what routine looks like. You know, just let them know that if you give enough of a shit, these little tiny changes can make a big change in the end.
They could be just like you.
No, they don't need to be like me. They can be like them. I'm just saying, you know. When you make your stomach look smaller, it makes your dick look bigger. That's all I'm throwing out there. That's all I'm throwing out there.
Wow. We need these DMs.
I'm just saying. You know, I'm just saying. It's physics.
It could be biology, though.
Nah.
Or anatomy.
Optical illusion. It doesn't actually make your
dick. So it's magic.
I'm pretty sure your dick stays
circles
the same
all
size.
the way. It circles all the way back down to Antonio. It's fucking magic.
Yeah.
Doug Polk, $55,000 winner so far.
What's the longest match they've played?
They played until it was 5 to 9:30 Eastern. So they played 4 hours.
4 hours?
Yeah. I remember I was watching. It was pretty wild.
That's not that long.
No, it's not, but it's longer than, they're used to playing. 3-minute pot on table 2, monotone board comes out. So it goes with a very small size, and the flop takes it down. Not much that can be done there. Let's say, Daniel has a hand like Queen Jack Red. It's like he's just handcuffed. Not much he can do. He just has a small fold to the small size.
Yeah, I think you see small size a lot on disconnected monotone boards.
9-3-6.
Qualifying the quote unquote small size as sub 20%.
Yeah, even 20% small.
A non-standard small size, if you will.
$9-6-4, Jack 4 deuce. Douglas goes with roughly 40% on table 1. He checked back on table 2. Takes it down on table 1. Turn 5, checks to him again. Goes with 55%. This is kind of a new size-ish. Gets called. Daniel can... I'm not sure what Daniel has, because a lot of his hands would just bet this turn for protection / value that would continue. So maybe he has ace high, or a 4.
4 makes sense.
Doug goes with another bet. Daniel folds. So probably had an ace-high combo.
I mean, he's probably folding a lot of 4x too. It's probably a lot of like ace 4, ace 3, ace deuce. Obviously not ace deuce, but
Yeah, I get what you're saying though. Don't worry, Danny. You still have time. This truly is not done.
we're early. We're only 90 minutes into the session, give or
Well,
take.
they're only supposed to play 2 hours.
Nah, that can't be the case forever, right? Like, this thing will never end.
That's fine for Daniel.
Sure.
Keep
Sure.
it going. I think Daniel should fucking prolong this thing until he's fucking top 5 in the world. Like, just 2 hours on the dot, you know, take 30 seconds of decision. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
You want to be the overwhelming favorite, you got to deal with my shit.
He just gets to like the 12-5 mark and then just like comes down with COVID. Like, sorry, I need 10 days.
Yeah. You know, it is what it is. So, I believe this is a 3-bet pot on table number 2. King 8-7 Rainbow does the original 4-better here. Quarter, less than a quarter. Call turn jack. This is a pretty okay card for Daniel. Check. They're roughly 1 SPR now. Although I don't see many hands that would just shove for Doug. I guess aces.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot more of that 6K sizing again, if not a check back.
All of it. All of it. You ain't shit, Chin. All of it. That's what he said. All right. He wins. He wins. Or he had aces. Ace, King, 4 in the 3-bet pot. Table number 2. 3-bet pot brewing on table number 1 as well.
Interesting check by Doug.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he got a king. I don't think he's going to check fold.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
He does. So he probably had like the 8-9. That seems like a hand that would check fold. 8-9. If he does his reveal, I bet 8-9.
8-9 it is.
That's what he had, 100%. I think 8-9's like a big favorite there, actually. But he could also just have like some dust, you know, like the Jack 6 of hearts. He rolled a 90 with the Jack 6 of hearts and went for it. Yeah. I'm gonna start doing that, bro. Just like every time I do some wild shit, like, bro, I rolled a 90. What do you want me to do? Like, it's just gotta go, you know? The other day, I sent a hand to one of my friends, like, and he's like, all right, he's like he's arguably like one of the best MTT players, right? And I was like, yeah, so I had the 4-5 of hearts and like this guy limped and like I think he's a fish. So like I have 4-5 and like so I rolled and like it was like I rolled like a low frequency open and the frequency hits. I opened and he's like, wait, what? He's like, you're gonna randomize ISOing a fish?
I'm with him. I think it's so stupid.
I was like, it's 4-5 though. Like I can't just open 4-5 every time. He's like, yeah, there's gotta be a better way. That was his exact words. He's like, there's gotta be a better way. Honestly, it was even funnier than that because like he didn't see the hand. Like I thought he didn't see the hand for like a day or so. And so I like texted him again. I'm like, oh, did you see this hand? He's like, He's like, yeah, I saw it. I just couldn't get past the rolling part.
Oh man, a man after my own heart. This is something that I've fought with you about for a long time. I think that like rolling in a scenario where you're already guessing at what the frequency is like so laughable to me.
Yeah, I agree. Like, but okay, so effectively, what I was thinking in the time was like, okay, like this is definitely not like pure open, you know? So it's just like now you're kind of guessing as to how like what the frequency is. The thing is, I think all players do this. Like no matter if you're like Sauce or Polk or whatever, like they don't know the frequency of each exact spot. Period. So you're mostly just guessing because you know it's not pure.
I guess it kind of just defeats the purpose of randomizing. Randomizing is a balancing technique, and if you don't know the frequencies well enough to be balanced, then what the fuck's the point? You may as well just simplify to a pure strategy.
Just fold the 4-5 suited, Chen. That's it. Just
No,
let
man,
it
it's
go.
a whale. Just open.
Just let it go.
Persuadio is a good question. I think it brings up a very valid point to discuss. He says, why does D-Negs think he can open the widest range possible versus Doug? I.e., why does he think he can open a GTO heads-up range? Shouldn't he increase his preflop size and open fewer combos? And in doing so, force Doug to not defend as much and not defend as well? Personally, like this is a correction that I would take. If I felt like I was outclassed in a heads-up match, I think the last thing I would worry about is earning all of my pre-flop EV. I would almost certainly just overfold a lot of pre-flop spots, particularly where not very much money is going in. So I would probably just like under defend out of position slightly, and I would probably overfold buttons slightly just to prevent myself from having portions of the range that aren't going to earn me very many dollars after the flop. It also forces a corrective action to be taken by your opponent, because if he's just assuming that you're playing GTO ranges and you're actually tighter in a lot of spots, he's ultimately going to be studying himself into a corner where there won't be a big EV exchange, but he'll certainly be taking the worst of it in some spots where it seems neutral.
I don't know enough to like make that like I don't know. Like I don't know how much EV you lose by not opening. You know, like there's only two of you, so if you're not opening enough hands, like you're just kind of giving up a lot, I think, right? I don't know.
Not necessarily. I mean, do you think you're giving up a lot folding hands that are negative EV?
No, but like you're opening.
It kind of works in the inverse.
So if you're opening, let's say you're opening 75-80% of hands, right? Heads up, and like if he starts opening less, like 65, it's a lot of hands that just hitting the muck. Like you're just giving a lot of walks now. 35% walks.
Yeah, sure. So he's earning 35% on a half a blind. It's not that much. It's a sixth of a blind that you're sacrificing by tightening your range. Seems pretty easy to make up for post, especially if he's actually losing 10 big blinds per 100 plus against Doug. A lot of it's going to come from the fringe of his range. It's not going to come from him playing the top of his range poorly, or him playing even the middle of his range poorly necessarily. Right? The easiest way to shore up post-flop play is to just have a tighter range in all spots. Granted, it comes at an EV loss because you are, like Chin said, giving a lot more walks, so you're losing the EV of not stealing those blinds or not playing position quite as frequently, or whatever the case may be. You're sacrificing your pot share. But if you had to make, this is why the concept of like pre-flop doesn't matter is so relevant, because if you had the choice between making a less than one big blind mistake pre or a potential 20 big blind mistake post, I think it's pretty clear which path you would rather choose. So like unless that the tightening of your range pre is going to have some sort of negative effect on your post-flop strategy. It seems kind of intuitive that you should start tight and then widen as you get better, not the opposite. Not start with the widest range available and then just like try to learn everything at once.
Be a knit. Knit it up. Daniel, let's go.
I can't think of anybody more annoying to play than somebody who's playing too tight of a range heads up.
You really think so?
Well, think about what it does to Doug's counter strategy. Right? Like, if he's consciously aware that he's against an opponent who's too tight, it should also now tighten all of his spots. So now he should be bluffing less, calling less, and value betting thinly less. I mean, that's like kind of the intuitive adjustment. Now, obviously, as you dug into the data, you would find exploits where you would get to overdo something, whether it's value bet or bluff or call. But yeah, just in a general nature, like, it's why polarization is so preferred in this game. It's the easiest range to balance, right? You don't have to deal with any of the gray.
4-bet pot, table number 2. Daniel Negreanu. The kid, Daniel Negreanu, goes for the 4-bet, 11,000, $20. That $20 important. It's called King Jack. King high board is going to be better for Daniel. He has ace king. He has jacks. He has some king 5 suited. 20%. So we'll have continues here. He'll have a jack, queen 10. He'll have ace queen, ace 10. This is a nice card for Daniel because all backdoors have now bricked off. The suited cards will be in the favor of Doug. All those now brick. Daniel goes with a small size. Gets called. We have roughly 10s, baby. My man got the 10s. He got the 2 streets of value. He does it, man. This kid poker. That's cool. That one was a little bit above my pay grade. I'm not gonna lie. He went with the 4-bet, small bet, small bet. I think flop bet's cool. I think turn bet's cool too. Like I kind of said, like everything bricked. He has a lot of just like natural folds on that card. Do your thing, Daniel. Do your thing. I do think Daniel after this will definitely be just like generally tougher. Period, right? Like when he's playing these high rollers, like he's gonna be better than he was before, right?
Yeah, he's definitely gonna have a better understanding of theory. But the problem is that heads up doesn't exactly extrapolate out into ring very well. You'll never play ranges this wide. He might be a little bit better at blind on blind play, but even there, it's kind of like not a fair assertion because you're sacrificing position when in the small blind. I mean, yeah. There are a lot of principles he should take away from this match that I think will make his game significantly stronger, and I wouldn't be shocked if we see a small rise of Daniel, perhaps in some bigger games, perhaps in some high rollers again. We'll see if it reignites his thirst for the game. But
Daniel playing the GG 500 1000 games.
It's possible. It's possible. I don't think it extrapolates all that well though. In a mechanical sense.
I don't know, man. We see Victor out there every day. You see Linus out there every day. Those guys, they came out from the heads up game. They came up from heads up.
Yeah. They took kind of a long path to get there.
Yeah. They got tired of battling each other and said, all right, let's just go battle other people.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, and I mean, the assumption is that they were still never as good as like Baron.
Yeah, 6 max for sure. 6 max. I mean, who knows, right? Like Baron never really played those massive stakes. like 500, 1,000 per person.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. He kind of just like disappeared into the ether.
Just made all the money and said, I'm gonna go be a venture capitalist, co-South, just win all the money and just whew,
I talked about that
vanish.
today on a podcast with Nick Howard, where we were talking about the infinite game mindset versus the finite game mindset. And I said that despite the fact that poker in and of itself is an infinite game, I think the newest, I shouldn't even say the newest generation, but basically the generation that is preceding yours, succeeding yours, I think that they only have the finite game mindset. I think they all see poker as a bit of a money grab, and it's just an exercise in accumulating as many dollars as fast as humanly possible and then just moving on, which is very reasonable because I don't think that this is a game where you can accrue endless wealth by any stretch of the imagination. And it also is probably healthier for the ecosystem than it appears on the surface. Like, yeah, it sucks to have a bunch of chiselers and edge seekers and stuff like that populating games, but also if they just come in, win money, and leave, yes, that money leaves the ecosystem, but so does a profitable player with it. So yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of interesting to see what our little niche community will turn into.
I don't like those people though.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because like they don't straddle, they don't play bomb pots. I mean, and they're not shot taking either. At least like when I didn't play bomb pots, it's because I was shot taking.
Sure.
These guys like are like literally rolled for the game.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You sat out quite a number of bomb pots when we were in Texas.
I did it.
Mm.
I played a lot of bomb pots. I won a lot of bomb pots too.
I want a lot of bomb pots. Man, double board bomb pots are very fascinating to me.
4-bet pot, table number 2. Doug goes for the bigger sizing, takes it down.
Fishcakes asks, do you think they keep all the money to one along the way to the 25 cans plus $1 million for being the winner? There's no side bet. There's no million on the side.
This isn't Galfon. Galfon was a little bit more brave than Doug. He went for, he said, I think I'm better than you guys, and I'm gonna give you an incentive to play me.
Yeah.
Phil Galfon is currently leading after today, I believe, in the Galfon versus Chance Corneth matchup. I believe Galfon had a big win today.
How big is big?
I think he won like 90,000 or so.
Pretty big. They're also playing 2-4?
I don't believe so. I think that match is 1-2.
1-2, yeah. They have to be getting pretty
yellow.
They have to be getting pretty deep into it now, like third of the way, maybe?
They're slightly over half.
Really? They're over 15K hands?
Yeah, they're slightly over half. They're in the mix. I mean, they're playing every day. They're playing almost every day.
Yeah. It's a shame it doesn't draw the same attention.
I think it's the game, man. Like, it's harder to understand PLO. People say PLO is the game of the future, and it always will be.
That's a funny sentiment.
Yeah, it's the game of the future, and it always will be.
It'll just always be the game of the future.
Yeah.
Hold'em's going nowhere.
I don't know, man. Like in the East Coast, in New York City, there's almost no high stakes, no limit anymore.
Yeah, it's the same thing down south. A lot of the underground games are that way, but it's also because a lot of people allow the inmates to run the asylum.
Monotone board, table number 1. Overbet. Big overbet. 1.5x pot. Huge stacks on table 1 now. Might see $170,000 pot. No, sorry.
150.
150.
Yeah, I think that like a lot of those more private games that are being run underground or whatever, the reason why they shift to PLO is because they try to keep an environment that is gambly and they want to continually promote the game to loose action players. Loose action players obviously gravitate towards a game where variance runs high, and on any given night they can win. The problem with that is that the swings are so great and people are so under-rolled that you just break your player pool very fast. So again, it's a very much finite mindset. The game runners don't understand the infinite mindset of, if I want this game to sustain for 5 years or 10 years, where I just have passive income for, you know, the duration of it, then I need to do things that will keep my clientele from going broke. And I'm not even necessarily saying no limit hold'em is the strict answer to that, because it's not. The best players will absolutely skin the fish alive, but it's more so not giving in too much to the whims of the VIPs, because they don't often know what's best for them. So capping games, not price gouging on the rake, not going into the books too deeply. So not letting whales get too deep on your books. Like, you can kind of control a lot of these things with how much credit you lend, and what type of cap you put on the buy-ins. Maybe you let pros, if you want if pros want to get in the game, you cap their buy-ins, but you uncap the other players, things of that nature. You just do things that minimize the risk of the people who will keep the game sustainable.
I think I'm gonna run a game in New Jersey.
No, you're not.
There seems like a nice New Jersey right now is flourishing in underground poker.
Yeah,
there's a game every day.
It's also just like so unsafe. Like, the risk reward for someone like you is so high on the risk side and so low on the reward.
All I know is my man that lays low with the JJ is making $1 million. That guy is out there. He is. He runs a 5-5 game every day of the week.
I don't care.
That's
He's not making $1 million. It's not $1 million.
I mean, you run a 5-5 game, the cap is 50 on the rake. That's a lot of money, man. It adds up quick.
Tough to make $80K a month in rake and still have a game to run.
It's high population in those states, man. New York, New Jersey, there's a lot of people out there. They love their poker. They love Sulphur Y.
Yeah. You're taking 160 buy-ins out of the population every month.
I feel you, man. I understand. I'm just saying. The games are running. The games are out there.
Sure.
I don't know how long it's going to go, but
imagine
they keep sending out those stimulus checks, Berkey. Like, it's not gonna stop, bro.
Imagine taking 10 buy-ins out of a game every single night, no matter what, for a year. Like,
bro, I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
But I'm disproving what you're saying, because it's just short term. It's just COVID. It's just this hasn't been going on for 8 months.
Yeah. Maybe the COVID is the thing, right? Like, people are just playing every day because COVID.
It's COVID. The games haven't gotten robbed yet. The games, haven't gone broke yet to the rake, but they do. They always do in time, especially as the economy gets worse. Like, the worse off the economy is, the more probable those games are to get robbed. Period.
Right.
Hard stop. And the more probable a game is to get robbed, the more difficult it becomes to acquire new talent.
It's a lot of rake going around. Even the private games like LA and Vegas, like, people rake, But the games are a little bit bigger, so it's hard. It's different structure.
Yeah. Rizzy says, do you guys plan on doing a part 2 of homeschool? Yes. Looking for something early 2021. Not really sure yet. We might just run simultaneous homeschools, perhaps like a 101, 201 type of deal. I'm thinking something along the lines of rerunning what we did for the basically like game theory principles, like we did for the original homeschool, where we get out all of the baseline material, and then perhaps part 2 will just strictly be sizing and board textures, where we do a lot more lab work, demonstrate a lot more solves, things of that nature. The big challenge is just the time constraints of it all. I really do think for the product to be the best it can be, it needs to be like a 20 or 30 hour product. And I think it's hard for people to want to show up and actively study for like 2 hours a day for the better part of a month. But the irony is like, I say that that's hard for people to do. But then what I'm really saying is that people don't want to get better, right? Like they want the easy path to getting better, which like truly doesn't exist. If I had the opportunity when I was coming up to spend 30 days with somebody who I thought was like well advanced in my path, regardless of what it is, it could be in baseball, poker, computer science, whatever. If I had the chance to spend 2 hours a day with somebody I considered to be very good at what they do, and very well above me, I mean, you just can't like, you don't get those opportunities often. And like the idea of forced study is similar to like the idea of like forced training when it comes to sports or working out or whatever. All you have to do is hold yourself accountable to show up.
Half the battle, man. Half the battle. Doug is up 75,000 so far. I still have my Truly though, so there's still a shot.
We'll get you another one if need be. We got a vlogcast to record after this.
Yeah.
I think it's time to do a drunk pod.
No.
What do you mean, man? We've done almost 100 episodes. There's no drunk
You
pod.
guys should have got me drunk the day that I went off on fucking Doug Polk and then not edit it.
You were bad enough sober. We couldn't put it out sober.
I was not happy. I was not happy, bro. I don't like the shit he says sometimes. But whatever, it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. You feel like getting lit today? This might be the day for a drunk podcast.
No.
We can go through the DMs.
I'm very calm today. I'm very calm. I'm not even mad that Doug is up right now.
I don't want you to be mad. I want you to be drunk.
No, I'm just calm today. I feel like Daniel's actually playing really well. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like he just got cooled off a bunch of times. Like, he had trip jacks. This guy had a flush. Like, he had 2 pair. The guy had a tough set. Like, it's been like kind of an annoying day.
Yeah, I mean, I think we put too much emphasis on that, though. Every time he puts up a losing number, we look at all the big spots where a lot of money changed hands, and he seems to be on the wrong side of it. But I don't think that this is just a case of variance. Like, as much as I would love to start pointing fingers at Doug and saying like this guy's just fucking lucky and doesn't deserve to win all this money, I think that there are a lot of subtleties and nuance in the strategies that are shifting things very favorably towards Doug. Even just him not losing the maximum. Oh no, never mind. That spot didn't turn out that way. I was thinking the spot where he had the flush versus Daniel's trips, but Daniel only had trips. He wasn't full.
Mm-hmm. Check on table 1 on the flop, turn 3. As we see a pot go towards Doug on table number 2. Daniel goes with 40% pot. 4 flush fills. Check. 8 of spades, good. Doug also had a 6. Nice hand from Doug. I think very standardly played. Flop 1, check, king 4, 3. Turn 6. Doug check back, flop, check back, turn. Nine, 6, 3 on table 1. Check. Doug with ace high. I think both players played that hand well. I don't think Daniel wants to always bluff his hand. Yeah. Okay. Check flop on table number 1. Daniel goes for the big bet size on the turn. Gets called. Daniel will have a fair amount of sixes that bet the turn for protection. He'll have nines. He'll have a plethora of draws. He does check. Ace 4. Okay. That hand seems fine as well. Doug Polk creeping on a 100K win. Big bet size from Daniel, 974 seems good. Also takes down table number 2 after a check down. You checking your DMs?
No, I'm supposed to be playing a charity event, and I'm looking for the link, but I don't think I have one.
I think Doug went 40% on the flop, turn 8. Check, check. Daniel now with the option to bet or check. I think if he bets, he'll go pretty large, but he does go to the check. Ace 4 seems like he is mixing up the river probably. This time went with the check. Always a little concerning when Doug goes with the time back, because this happens every now and then. Huge raise.
Doug really likes these massive river raises. It's like 2x pot river raises. I imagine we just see like flushes and king of spades in range when he does that.
Yeah,
it seems like a pretty easy spot to balance.
Daniel with 75% on table number 1. Gets called another 4 flush board. Seen these a few times now. Let's see if Daniel fires. If he fires, I assume it'll be... I did not expect this one. It's interesting. I guess he's...
In the past, we've seen that as an induction bet, where he just like one-offs it with the nuts there.
Yeah, it could also just have like the 10 of spades, right? Something that like is good but not great. That he doesn't want to bet pot. Yeah, it's interesting because some people make the argument of, you know, the in position, you don't want to bet less than 50% if you're closing the action.
Right.
But it seems like Daniel does that often, and I'm not even so sure of like I haven't done the work for me to prove that that is that theory is correct. I just have heard it, you know, second-handedly that you know, you don't want to bet less than 50% in position because you have the option to close. So
I mean, intuitively makes sense. Obviously, it's not true if you think your opponent will overreact. I think, like, in that particular instance, Daniel probably doesn't want the 10 of spades because that's probably going to make up a lot of, or at least some of the hands Doug would consider bluffing with.
No, 10 of spades is a flush. Like, he's just going to call with. You know
yeah. I mean, I guess that's fair, but, like, yeah. It blocked the, or was there no straight flush available?
No.
Okay,
like,
okay.
Yeah. Like a flush board where it's like a spade call, you know?
Yeah, so like that's the thing. So that's kind of the thing. There's really no purpose to the small bet if the bluff catching range is inelastic.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I'm just interested in it, I guess.
Mhm.
Because he's doing it for a reason, I guess,
Yeah.
3-bet on table number 2. Call. 8-8-7. Generally, I think Daniel's going to lean past. Starts with a check. Triple wheel on table number 1. Card Daniel. Doug starts with a small bet on table number 2. I like this. This makes it a little bit difficult for Daniel. He's going to have to continue with a fair amount of floats. Daniel increases bet size on table number 1. Goes with like roughly 75%. Daniel chooses the check on table number 2. I expect Doug to continue betting on this card. If he turns a jack, he'll probably bet like third. Does go check, check. Doug wins on table number 1 with ace-9. Seems good. Table number 2. After the action goes check, check, I think Daniel gets to start betting like aces and potentially his own jack X's. Takes it down. Nice hand. Those are tricky spots to find bluffs for Daniel, right? After he starts with the check.
Yeah.
I guess like he can bluff like some queen 10 floats that check the flop, maybe some ace 10 hands, things like that.
Yeah. It starts to feel bad when you begin to dip into your ace highs as bluffs, but I do think it's probably pretty natural in those spots where it's hard to find bluffs. Like, I think whenever we're struggling to find bluffs, we just naturally gravitate towards hands of the lowest showdown value.
Yeah, but he 3-bet and then checked and then called, so like he needs to start dipping into some hands. I think.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're just gonna find the ones that, yes, they have showdown value, but like it's not so much that we care.
Right. Yeah, I think you have to start ranking your ace highs. Like, ace king, ace queen, you're gonna have a fair amount. A 9 is a pair, a jack is a pair, so like ace 10 seems like the one that you have to kind of bluff sometimes.
Yep.
3-bet pot on table number 2, ace king 3, great board for Doug. Goes with the check. Daniel has mixed in some small bets after checking, and he does again. Four hearts. Don't expect Doug to have too many flush draws that check the flop. So this is generally going to be okay for Daniel. Check, check, turn. I'm going to take a little sip of the true. I hope my man Daniel pulls this one off. I hope he just has the ace-8 off, baby. There you go. I wonder if you get to bet the river at some frequency with ace-8, but maybe not with no heart, and maybe ace-8 is maybe too weak. I'm not sure, though.
Yeah, I mean, if he does bet, it's just probably going to be a block. So I think the general consensus is those types of boards are overbluffed. Checking makes some sense because you have a pretty decent bluff catcher.
He's in position, though.
Oh, sorry. I read the hands backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe after facing check, check, he could mix in some bets. It's kind of, it seems fine to check, though. Like, it's one of your worst aces. One of your worst aces, you don't have a heart. Seems like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the tricky part when you're up against a good player is that value betting thinly feels pretty bad because you face that check raise at far greater than a non-zero frequency. I traded in Chauncey for a lapdog.
Dog. I think I want to get like a Siberian Husky.
Not in
But the
Vegas.
problem is Siberian Huskies in Vegas are a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get a short-haired dog. It's too hot. I have a sneaking suspicion this one's going to go long today. We're not seeing a ton of pain. Seems like Daniel's keeping his wits about him. It almost feels like when he's quit in the past, it's just been a tilt quit.
No. I don't think so. I don't think he's tilt quit. Well, yeah, maybe some of them, yeah. I think like when he lost like the aces to eights or something, or was it queens to eights or something?
Well, that entire session was just like insane. Like that was definitely a session we could point to and say, okay, Daniel ran very badly in that particular session.
Yeah, for sure. I think that. Oh man. Yeah, I think that I'm getting some prop bets some prop bets in the text messages right now.
In the old text messages. Are you gonna fucking share or what? You're just gonna sit there and laugh like a goddamn clown.
They were just gonna laugh like a clown this time.
Shorty's getting a little spicy with you.
Nah. Some of my good friends and they want me to get out of line.
I'm telling you, man, it's time for a drunk vlogcast.
Bro, if I finish this thing and Daniel's not up, this might get interesting.
Yes, it's a slow news week. We don't have a lot to talk about. We can't fucking talk about Blizzarian again. I'll kill myself.
I mean, okay. So now my friends are like, let's do flips, 10K a flop for 10 flops, black and red. And I was like, bro, I'm not that rich. Like 10K a flop? Like, what the fuck? Like, I can't do it. Like, I wish I was that rich.
No, man, that's not how you negotiate. You negotiate a little bit of vig.
I can't. Like, if I just lose,
I mean, if we're getting 5%, I'll take half. You know what? Plus 105. Plus 105.
I don't think my friends won't let me sell. They want like the full pain. You know, they're like, you know. Like,
all right, but, you know, it's a little wink and an understanding.
Nah, I can't charge vig and then sell. Like, that's so unethical. It's like I could just sell 95%, right, and then just like keep the vig. Like that's
what Brooklyn was doing whenever we were out in Texas last time.
Allegedly.
Yeah, he's just got guys texting. 25K flip.
People were paying vig for flips. They still do out there.
It's wild.
Like,
it's honestly wild.
People pay vigs for flip. It's insane.
Aussie Matt paid Bob Bright like 10% to flip for hours.
That's wild. I do want to have like a nice flip day where I just like flip for hours, but I really need like some nice, like if it's high stakes, like I might have to clear it with some backers, you know.
I've never ran good in that spot.
Never ran good in the flips.
When sessions end and people want to flip, I always like begrudgingly oblige, and I just get fucking clipped every time.
That's because you're begrudgingly obliging. You just have to be ready to go.
It's like, oh, okay, I had a 100K day, sweet, and I just put like 40 of it into play in the flips and lose every fucking one.
You gotta be ready to flip. I called somebody blind in Texas. I won. He didn't like that.
Some people are blessed.
There's some There's some interesting props going on in my text messages right now. People really want to see me get out of line, bro.
I'm here for it. I am here.
I don't know. If you see me get way out of line, you just know I got a free roll for it.
Shout out to all 321 of you watching. We really appreciate it. We're gonna be here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the D-Negs Polk Challenge.
I'm not promising that I will always be here. We might switch up. Berkey might take a day off. I might take a day off. But the channel will be live. I might get a...
Look at this kid already negotiating for time off.
You already told me to negotiate.
I want you to negotiate for Vig on a flip, not
I'm not gonna vague my friends. That's like, it's kind of fucked up.
They're trying to break your ass.
Nah.
They're like, how much Bitcoin you got? Put 20% of it up.
Nah, they're just like, they're as tilted as I am, bro. They're just like, fucking Doug Polk's winning every fucking match. Like, we're tired of the bullshit. Like,
I definitely lit 10K on fire for sure.
Do
I think there will be a World Series in 2021? The fact that right now the Win is running a high roller series, despite the fact that 1% of Nevadans are infected with COVID and 20% who test turn up positive, yeah, I'd say there's probably going to be a WSOP 2021. I would probably bet a fair amount of money on it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not going to say anything bad about the WSOP while we're using their software to run this match. So they're going to pass for me today. Today. It's weird. Like, it's weird because we have friends that work for them. So it's an annoying situation.
I know the entire staff. I know the entire staff really well. I generally understand the reasoning behind what's going on. There's a lot that the public just doesn't know or understand about the software, about regulation, about the hierarchy of it all, who people have to answer to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of that said, it's still business. It's a corporation. Poker's pretty low on the priority list of Caesars or whoever the fuck they sold to now. What's the group that bought out the World Series?
El Toro.
No.
It's something like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Rancho
it's something like
or some shit like that, yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that they could do better, but what people don't really understand is that the vast majority of their resources are simply going into lobbyists to try to get online poker legalized.
Well, that would be nice.
There's an outside chance that the Wire Act gets overturned first quarter of next year, in which case suddenly overnight statewide gambling would be legal. It'd be interesting. DFS would suddenly become legal coast to coast. Online poker would suddenly become legal coast to coast. When I say legal coast to coast, I mean I think it would be a state decision. So actually, it might not change anything for DFS because I think that's currently what the legislation is anyway.
I think when this is over, I want to train and play Ryan Fee heads up. 100, 200.
He doesn't even play No Limit.
I think he's a pussy.
This is coming from the chat.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think I want to do it.
Man.
I think I'm ready to go. I think I'm gonna just like sit in my room 6 months and just go.
I think we could get like a crossbook on playing Fee heads up and playing him one-on-one in pickleball.
Am I back? I think Riot Feet turned off my internet.
I heard that.
Yo, I think Riot Feet turned off my internet, bro. All right, are we back?
We're back.
Did you
Sorry
lose
about
internet too?
Yeah, it's fucking Cox, man. They suck so badly. But we should be good now, at least temporarily speaking.
All right, let me see. I wonder if they're gonna play longer tonight. It seems like you were right. They're already 15 minutes past the official end time, which I'm not surprised, honestly. I feel as if Daniel's been just cruising, like not really playing badly, not just kind of holding on. You know, he got unlucky in some spots.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's only down to buy-in and a half. I imagine that... Oh, he went for it. Got picked off.
Man, if I finish this truly...
We got 3 more in the fridge down here, man. They're big, too. I don't know who the fuck brought them.
That's what I'm saying. No, they're fucking huge.
They're like 64 ounces. I'm pumped for this vlogcast. Shit's gonna get real.
Nah.
This is gonna be one of those vlogcasts where Chin claps like, yo, real talk? What I'm saying right now. That's what you guys didn't see in the unreleased version.
Nah, they saw little pieces of it.
Very little bit. Very little bit.
It was no joke. 22,000 on table number 2. Small bet. There's a 4-bet pot. Small bet from Daniel. Little less than quarter. 9 on the plus your players could still have King X of clubs, Jack X of clubs, Queen 10, Ace 10. All possible. Queen 10 will be a straight check. Another 9. Another check. And a check. Pot goes to Doug Polk with the Queen Jack of diamonds, middle pair with 9s and a king kicker. 3-bet from Daniel on table number 2. 7-5-5, big bet on table number 1. $7-5-3. I think Daniel goes with. Well, he does go with this like 40%-ish pot. It's kind of a new thing from Daniel. I expected to see a bigger bet size, but this is a new size. Kind of curious to see how he maneuvers through. Queen should be somewhat of a brick. I think he mostly will continue here with like. Here it is, roughly almost 2/3 pot size bet. Takes it down. Nice hand. 3-bet pot on table 1. 5-3, small sizing on the flop. Call Queen. This truly is almost done. It's not good.
We'll get you a reload, big guy.
Yo, why do people? Yo, I was having this discussion, like the most passive aggressive comments that people say on the end of sentences, like nice hand, big guy. Like that shit is super passive aggressive. Like
nah.
good call, chief. Like,
yeah, chief is definitely dismissive. Pal or bud.
Yeah, yeah. Good fold, bud. Like, wow. Oh, that's so aggressive. Like, that is so aggressive.
I think big guy's endearing.
No, I don't know, man. Like, Chief. Like, good call, Chief. Like, that is definitely aggressive. Like, you say good call, Chief, in a private game, you're never coming back. Like, you're just not coming back. Huge overbet. Now, this went check, and now an overbet on the river.
And a call by
Good,
Ace
good
King.
call. Good
Very good
fucking call, man. 53,000. So it went small bet on the flop. Check, call.
Yeah.
Right, man. This match might keep going. As long as he makes those calls, baby. Min bet from Daniel on table 1. I wonder, so what did Doug show down there? The Jack 8?
Diamonds, yeah. Was there a diamond on the flop? There had to be, right?
I don't know, man. I think he was just kind of going for it.
Well, how could he go for it? He floated and then checked back a turn.
Yeah, I think that's one of those like fancy like lab lines, you know? Like,
That's the kind of shit that I do on TV and then just get like put on an episode of Poker Guys for.
no, poker hands, baby. Poker hands, you know?
Mm.
The whole Doug Polk here. And we got an episode of the Berkey Files, you know? Like,
Christ.
and then he does the sound effects like, "Doo-doo-doo-doo," like, and then I fucking throw something at the TV.
Wow, Lily putting on a grammar lesson for Odyssey in the chat.
Is it your versus your?
No, burnt versus burned.
God assess. So we've been up for 2 hours and 22 minutes. Daniel's sitting out on table number 2. I don't think that's the match, though. I have not seen the ... The double dot. So I haven't seen it yet. Maybe he's just taking another break.
He's due for another break. He's only taken one thus far. Usually he goes about every hour. You know, he's getting a little up in age. That prostate is getting a little larger. Gotta pee a little bit more often. I understand.
Let's not talk about prostates. What the hell's going on? God damn. A7, 12K pop. Let's go, Daniel. I'm telling you, man. I feel like he's gonna win today. I just feel like he's gonna pull this one off. What I like about this is that Doug will never quit. Like he'll play. Yeah. He might play like 24-hour match.
I know what it's like, man. I've been in Doug's shoes where you just feel like you have the edge to a degree where like no matter what you'll never quit, and you don't take into consideration like getting tired and hungry and all this other shit. While we have a little bit of a break, for those of you who are interested in watching us play a little bit of poker, I'll be streaming the 10K main event this Sunday alongside the circuit main event, which I believe is a 525. I'm not sure. Big guarantee though. I think like 175K guarantee. Christian, what are you gonna be doing? You playing this event? He's texting more in front of the camera now.
I thought we were taking a break. All right. So I don't know. I'm morally torn about this fucking event. Like, I think it's like not a great event for. I don't think it's gonna be as valuable as the main event is generally. Like, I don't think it's gonna be, you know, where ROIs are like hundreds of percents. You know.
No, but they are adding $1 million to the prize pool. Or to the winner.
You gotta play some fucking European like heads up. Like,
which is fine. You don't want to play Euro heads up for $1 million?
I'll play them.
I bet you could work out some sort of chop.
Listen, if I get heads up, I'm not gonna chop. Like, I'm either gonna win this thing, or I'm not. Like, I'm not gonna chop. Maybe I'll chop, but I don't want. My ego's saying don't chop. Just go.
I mean, we can start scouting the final table of the Euros right now. We already know who's there.
That's also like a little fucked up, right? I don't know, man. I feel like I should play. But I've talked so much shit about how I don't think they're doing the right thing that I feel like I shouldn't play. That's kind of where I'm at.
That sounds like pride.
It just feels like, like everyone's so hypocritical. Like they talk so much shit about WSOP and then they just fucking sign up and give their fucking rake away and that's it. It's like if you're ever gonna take a stand, like this is the year to take the stand, right? It's fucking COVID. They're still running live events in the middle of fucking COVID. Like if you're ever gonna like put up or shut up, it's now, I guess,
I think that you have enough contradictions in your life that this is not a spot to pass on EV.
Please, you don't just add contradictions because you have other contradictions. Like, yeah, sometimes I talk to two girls at the same time, but like that doesn't mean that I should add another one. That doesn't mean that. That doesn't mean. It doesn't mean I should.
It certainly does not change the morality of the situation. And there's
makes it harder. It makes it harder to give the attention to the two already. You know what I mean? And now if it's like, if I add the third girl, plus I'm playing a 10K online, like none of them are getting text messages that day. And they should know that from advance. So if you're listening to this, I love you, baby. It's all good, Just that I'm not gonna text you on the day of the 10K WSOP. But I might skip it and and that'll be all love,
Skipping is an absurd thing.
There's not that much left in this truly. There's not that much left in this truly.
I had a player who I think is losing in most 10K fields, if not all, tell me he sold at 1.5 and only has 25% left if I wanted to purchase some. So knowing that fact, if you skip this event, I am going to look down upon you as a professional poker player.
Wow.
Stop texting in front of the camera, man. At least
No, I didn't. No, I was moving it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. I mean, maybe we just have to play it. Maybe that's just how it is.
If we is just a plural way of saying you, then yes, because I'm in there.
No, yeah, you're right. Maybe it's just like it's a must play. It's the WSOP main. Maybe you just have to play. Period. No matter what. No matter how many underage children are they're hiring to fucking write code in China or whatever.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Jesus Christ. What time am I playing on Sunday or planning to stream on Sunday? Well, the event starts at noon. But to be quite honest, guys, I don't know if I have a 12-hour stream in me. Maybe. We'll see. The other big events start at 2 o'clock. So I'll probably aim for that, assuming that I haven't already busted the main. I might not even reg the main until 2. It's such a slow structure. So yeah, I think I'm going to play it for 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. East this Sunday on this channel. Ready to rip it. Looks like there's a lot of good events. We have 100K guarantee, 320, a circuit event, main event that is a 200K guarantee, and then obviously the main event. Tough to say how many this is going to get. We already have 81 registered, so I think that's a good sign. I think the safe over-under is like 250, but I also see a world where this could just get like 600. And there's also a 75K 1K. It's going to be an expensive day of poker, guys. Very, very expensive day of poker, but we're here for it. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to stream on Monday as well, as there's a 100K finale, 6 max high roller. So after the Polk Negreanu stream next Monday, I'm just going to hop right in the streets and play.
I'm ready to dance. Let's go.
That's a fair point, Odyssey. The last 12-hour stream I did was a World Series final table. Yeah, we're going to make it a 10-hour stream. That's all. We're just going to start at 2, and we're going to end at midnight. And maybe we might end at 2 a.m. anyway because we're shipping a fucking circuit event.
Daniel Negreanu, 4-bet pot. He's only down 20,000.
Let's
ready to go, man. I think he's ready to fucking win, man. I think he's going to win.
Now that you're a little bit spicy, hold this down for me while I use the restroom. I'll get you a Truly, too. You know what? I'll even bring it up to you. How about that?
I don't know what I'm gonna say about Ryan Fee. King 5-4 rainbow, small bet size from Daniel. Big bet size on the right table. Daniel has definitely improved in terms of the bet sizing game on early streets. He goes with the turn over bet. I love this. He has a lot of available bluffs: 6-7, 8-7, Queen Jack, Jack 9, spades. I'm unsure if he would pick like nut spades for this size. Probably not. Probably pick like lower spades for this size. I could be wrong though. I accept if I am. Doug is down. Let's go. Daniel is now winning according to our stats. Let's go, Daniel. Let's fucking go, man. Hot size bet from Doug on table number 2. I like this sizing. Neck and neck. A pretty nice comeback. If Daniel does end up winning this match, he will have come back from roughly like 90,000. I feel like I willed it. I drank this entire fucking can, and I said it when I opened it that by the time I was done, Daniel would be winning. And I just finished it, and he's winning. Daniel scoops on table number 1, trip 10s, the board forward line to the king. Daniel in a 3-bet pot now. After facing flop check from Doug, goes with the small size. Winner. This might be long. This might be a long one. Check on table number 2. Table number 1, Doug goes with the flop over bet again. He has gone with this flop over bet again. I am curious how Daniel is going to be handling these flop over bets. Like, we've seen them a couple times now on like the king middle, ace middle, and frankly, I'm unsure how he should handle those moving forward. So it is something I am curious to see as the match continues. Table number 1, Daniel goes with the big bet size on the flop. Great turn for him. Check. River 7. Daniel should have a fair amount of ace highs here, but he'll also just have like king highs. Maybe some queen highs. I expect like his 9-10s and things like that to keep betting the turn. Does face close to pot, 80%. Winner for Doug Polk. Three bet from Daniel, takes it down. Neck and neck match. If I finish another one of those extra large Trulies, I think my man Daniel's gonna pull it off. Let's go. Yo, my man Daniel. Why you brought a water for? I'm not gonna drink it.
Just in case you get a little dehydrated.
Yeah. All right. Round 2, baby. We're gonna get lit. My man Daniel's gonna pull off a 100K win. It's gonna be a good night. This one's better than the first one. You know, I haven't drank in like months. This is only 200 calories. So it's kind of good. All right.
We're
I
back.
haven't drank in months. Like besides like a random like one glass of wine like every now and then. But it's just kind of nice. So now Daniel goes with the check raise on 9-7-2 spades. Takes it down. We're neck and neck, Berkey. Daniel is up small according to the small people under the table counting the chips. He's up $10,000. I said I'm gonna finish this truly. Daniel's gonna be winning, and boom, I will be. Now I'm saying that if I finish this one, Daniel's gonna be up 100,000.
I can't believe you just referred to Andre as the small people under the table.
Listen, they're the unsung heroes, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the movie's going, do you think about like the director of the movie? No, you're not.
It depends. But
You're not thinking about like Michael Bay or whatever. You're not thinking about that. You're just like, oh shit, this movie's lit. You're not thinking about like the director of the movie.
That's fair. Angel for you to envy says, Berkey, can we get some 1% sweats sold for the community? I'm not going to sell any, but we'll give some away. Perhaps we'll do that. We'll do a big giveaway on Friday's stream for this. And if I decide to stream Thursday, which is unlikely, by Thursday I mean tomorrow, I would say it's a low probability, but if we do, I'll give away 1% sweat there as well. So yeah, just tune into the channel over the next couple of days. I'll give away probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 10% of my main event.
10%. Wow.
It's for the people, man. For the people.
For free?
Well, you know, they're going to have to like, subscribe, leave a comment on the previous videos, the usual routine, but yeah, for free.
I think they should also like send in a photo of them wearing Soft for Y gear.
Have to buy a piece of merch and show us the receipt.
It's cheaper.
That's
I
true.
mean,
actually, we could do that. Maybe that's the play, man. You have to be a Solve for Y TV member and show us the receipt.
Yeah. You see, you're over here trying to give it away.
I kind of like that, Shin. I kind of like that. Maybe we'll work on that for Sunday stream.
I'm gonna tell them tonight on the vlogcast.
Oh yeah, it'll be out by then. That's a good point.
I'm gonna cover this brand.
Yeah, we're gonna be giving away equity, son. Equity. God, could you imagine I just win the main event for like $2 million fucking dollars and just shell out 200,000 to our followers, all for like paying $9.99 for a subscription?
I bet you they'll never cancel.
That part is probably true. We might get some loyalists at that point.
Daniel with trip deuces with the deuce 7 defend. He's not giving away that big blind for cheap. Let's go, Daniel.
Mm-hmm. Was it suited? I missed it.
Deuce 7 of hearts.
Okay, that's acceptable.
His favorite suit, I think.
Is that accurate?
No, I don't know. Which was the 10-7? I think he said it was 10-7 of spades in his old books.
Sadly, I never read his books.
I had my first poker book was Daniel Negreanu's book. He said Ace Queen was trouble.
Trouble.
He was right though.
No, he wasn't. Queen is a very powerful hand.
I know, but still, you know, back in the day it was. You know, if the one hole opened,
the one hole,
then Ace Queen was in trouble.
Right. You hate to see it from the one hole.
Yeah. Check raised on table number 1. Ace 4-3, 2 spades. Call from Daniel. Tricky spot on the turn in terms of sizing for. There's a size. Turn over bet. Winner. I feel as if that spot I'm not certain, but it feels like that spot's probably under bluffed. But I don't know. I'm a little drunk too, so I don't know. But if I was playing, I would think that spot's under bluffed. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know. Just my opinion. I don't know though. I'm not sure. I feel as if people don't really attack that spot like that with bluffs too often. But it is Doug Polk, so
Yeah.
supreme leaders do supreme things. Allegedly.
Shout out to Big A in Japan, saying hi from Japan. We appreciate you.
Super small check raise from Doug. He has been doing this on the paired boards and the monotone boards. He goes for it this time. Queen of clubs. I guess he goes with like 2/3. He does go small. Goes with the 1/3.
I feel like almost all of Daniel's range is going to be at best a bluff catcher, with the exception of, I mean, obviously like flop nut flushes are just going to be what they are. They're coolers, but with how connected the board texture is and the availability for 6-7 of clubs to be out, I think that interesting river size when the ace of clubs makes a pair.
This spot is so, dude. That's just all right. I don't know.
It's so annoying, man. It's so annoying because it's like they have the transparent knowledge that you have the ace of clubs a lot, and then they go for the big bet. Like, oh, I know you hit this river for one pair, so pay me. Pay me the monies.
Yeah,
you know,
but like when
you know what you do when
that,
you have the ace of clubs?
don't shove.
No, you pay.
If you shove, bro, I just feel like he has to have it. Like when the ace of clubs, all right, when he doesn't have, okay, if he has the ace of clubs in his hand, right, he would never take this size, right?
Sure.
Okay, so when he doesn't have the ace of clubs in his hand, he knows you have the ace of clubs a lot, which means why would he take this size? Because he expects you to pay, which to me feels as if, exploitatively speaking, this is super underbluffed. But again, I don't know. Okay, I'm on my second truly. I don't fucking know. I'm just talking because if he had the ace of clubs in his hand, he's not gonna take that size. And when he doesn't have the ace of clubs in his hand and the ace rips off, he thinks you have it. He thinks you're gonna pay.
Yeah,
So,
but he still kind of has to go for it for the times that you just fold king queen.
I don't like upswing. It is what it is. They're great players, though. I give
And
them
also when he has it, now he just gets paid piles because when you have the ace, you just pay.
maybe you don't. Maybe you just fold, and then they make a video how you overfold.
Mm-hmm. That feels about right.
Maybe you just fold, and then that one time he was bluffing, and they're like, "Oh, he's a fish."
Yep. Sometimes you fold a full house on the river and get shown the queen high flush.
Yeah.
Sometimes you fold a queen high flush on the river and get shown a straight.
You're such a good friend. You brought me the water. That's nice.
I know why you get dehydrated.
Yeah.
I can't have you crying headache whenever we go to film this vlogcast afterwards.
If I get a little bit more lit, those text messages are gonna be flying. I might text my ex-girlfriend.
Oh man.
Just kidding. Sorry.
Did you
girl.
see that Dan Smith tried to bet his condo on DFS?
Yeah, I saw something like
And
that.
Empire Maker said he didn't want it because it's a bad investment.
That's funny. That's funny. But he wanted to bet against like A.E. Jones, right? Like that's crazy.
No, with A.E. Jones.
Empire's betting with A.E. Jones.
Oh, yes, Empire's betting against A.E.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like that's super crazy. Like you're betting against like one of the best, right?
I mean,
Like I don't know too much about DFS, but like
allegedly Empire Maker's the best. He was laying a price.
wow. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I think they should duke it out. Heads up. I'll cover it. I'll drink a Truly in Empire's name.
Oh, Gatsby's joined us. He's had enough. He was sitting outside my door waiting for me to open it.
Check raise from Daniel takes it down on ace 9 deuce. Man, this is a battle. This is a fucking battle.
We got the puppers in the building. Oh, it won't show. Shady.
Yeah, they don't show animals. They only
fake,
recognize.
Yeah, the fake background.
Three bet from Daniel. Come on.
Doug contemplating possibly a 4. Just calls.
I want to see a big bet from Daniel Negreanu. Hope he has king queen. Goes for the middle, 40%. B40. Generally good card for Daniel, although some backdoor flushes do assemble, but generally this is going to be good. Goes with the check.
I see him check good hands here a lot.
Yeah. I think he should sometimes. It's hard, like poker's hard to describe in 2020, right? Because it's like he should check some good hands sometimes. So it's hard to say, you know? It's like, yeah, he should have like ace queen sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting card. I don't expect him to have too much ace king, I guess. King 10.
I don't like that hand as a turn check.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he does have.
I mean, whatever. He's getting looked up by that hand no matter what. But
thing is, like, okay, like he doesn't really block the backdoor flush draw.
Right.
So he doesn't like. He has a like. If you're gonna check a king 10, a king 10 that didn't touch the flop like that is probably good. If you're gonna check any king 10, I'm not sure though. I mean,
no, I agree. I understand what you're saying. Like he unblocks all of Doug's king high floats because he has the king of diamonds, and there's no diamond present.
Yeah.
So Doug just has like higher equity distribution on that turn.
Right. So he has to check some of these hands to give him coverage.
Yeah, that's fair. I wonder if he's checking 9-10 also, because 9-10 is probably a better barrel off.
Probably checks 9-10 less often.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think he just like.
It's kind of fun.
He rolled. Yeah, he just like rolled the low number, Berk. Like that's just
shit.
That's just how it is. Okay. Just hits him with the roll.
I've come back around. I think checking king 10 there is kind of cool. It's a little bit tragic if we suddenly start facing an overbet, but then it might become one of our low frequency check raises, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that hand's okay. Yeah, I agree. I think that hand's okay to check. Especially if you hit him with the good call, Daniel. Good fucking call. Let's go. I think we might be here till 12 a.m.
Do you got that kind of stamina?
I don't know how many Trulies are in the fridge.
That was the last one.
Then no.
But there seems to be at least one missing. I'm pretty positive there were 3. You hoarded one up there?
I think my man Landon in the other room has one in there.
Nah, Landon doesn't drink.
Now, wait till he gets a Cuban girlfriend. You'll start drinking.
What up, Jamin? How you doing, man?
Get yourself a Latina girlfriend. You're gonna start drinking a little bit of weed in there too. You know, it's gonna be crazy out there. You know, Landon hasn't experienced, you know, the Latina girlfriends yet.
Mm-hmm.
Gets a little Latina, all of a sudden he's like, let me get a shot.
My first serious relationship was with a girl who was half Mexican. I didn't do any of that stuff.
Are you still together?
No.
Should have drank.
She did enough drinking for the both of us.
I think that was like a 75% on the turn from Daniel, maybe a little bit bigger. It was 21 to 27. Gets called. I think if he bets here, it's going to be pretty large. He does go with like another 75%. So the 75% here is a little bit, it's kind of cool. Like he could go as low as ace jack for value for this size, which is fine. Oh no.
Oh no.
Fuck. Felt like, given the speed, it felt like we were kind of bluffing.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, damn. Doug just like ripped off the fucking King Jack on the river. Or turn, yeah. At least that's what he's rapping. I think his bluffs probably come from like maybe like bottom pair with a jack or bottom pair with a king.
Yeah.
Hard to know. Yeah. Let's go, Daniel. I gave you the win after I finished this.
He's got a lot of ground to make up for the plus 100.
It's okay. He can do it. Doug will never quit. Queen 10. 3-bet pot on table number 2 as well. Kind of a bad, not kind of, like a bad board for Doug. Table number 2. I expect him to check a fair amount or use smaller size. He does go with the check. I think Daniel goes with a fair amount of small betting. We see that happen. On table number 1, Doug goes with the small check raise, which he's been doing on these monotone boards. Gets called. Doug wins. Daniel wins on table number 2. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm still doing a good job even after these trulies hitting the system.
Wow, the chat is going so hard on Landon's dating life right now. Projecting what the young prince will turn into.
I'll tell you what. If some chick comes in and be like, "Oh, I want you to cut your hair," she's out. She's 100% gone.
He'll shave his head in a heartbeat.
You think he's soft, huh?
He keeps saying he wants someone to ruin his life.
Doug goes with the check raise with the jack of diamonds, 8 of spade. Feels good, goodish. Yeah, feels good. Feels good. Can't really check call. I mean, it could, but I think it functions pretty nicely as a check raise. You know, he says that now until it happens.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if women just like sit in their room and they're like, "Yeah, I want to ruin this guy's life." Like, they probably do. They probably all just like get together in a group and just like talk about the evil shit they have planned. But that said, Veronica hit me up today. She's like, Oh, you want to come on my podcast, talk about your trip?
What'd you
What
say?
she's really saying is, you want to come on my podcast and talk about why you haven't hit up my friend?
Oh, you stopped talking to her again. Never learned, dude.
Or maybe I did learn, and that's why I stopped talking to her. And you see, there's two sides to this coin, Berk.
Is there though? I don't know, man. I know you pretty well.
What do you mean? I'm just saying.
You're a man who bores easily.
That's not my fault. That's their fault. What do you mean?
Can't shuck all the responsibility.
If I bore easily, that's not my fault.
Yeah, it is.
They should do something to not bore me.
What are they, your circus clown? Let's get into this.
Let's get into this turn. This river is fucking jack of hearts.
Oh, man.
I think Daniel bet the turn. Now he goes for the river. 2x pot. Let's go, Daniel. Ain't no games.
I hope he had any hand except Queen Jack.
Queen Jack is a straight plus trips.
Yeah.
Nah, he didn't have that.
I'm just saying, any hand he chose is fine by me as long as it's not Queen Jack. Because that seems like the easiest one to do that with.
Yeah. It's probably like one of the worst ones, though.
Yeah, you just never get called. Queen 10 would be nice. 10-9 would be nice.
Or King Queen for the overstraight. Duck goes with 2/3 on the turn. Check raise. What?
Ozzy, my man, he goes, yo, that pivot's so strong the plebs think he's traveling. He knows chin. He knows chin very well. Let's talk about this turn bet.
After the check raise, river comes a queen, which 4 lines the board, and Daniel goes with 75. Kind of an interesting situation here, actually.
This is a 3-bet pot or no?
No, it's just got check raised on the turn.
So he's pretty capped at king queen. Doug, when he has a king, can just rip.
They both have a king. Doug won with the min raise.
Yeah, I think he should be shoving.
But he has a cap there. He has a queen, which is kind of bad. Like, that's kind of like, it's hard to get called when you have a queen. So that's probably why he went with the small bet.
Yeah, I guess.
Nice catch, Daniel. Let's go.
Daniel can't fold 8x. I don't think. Maybe.
To the shove?
Yeah. It's 2 pots, a little less.
Probably folds.
I mean, Daniel probably shouldn't be betting 8x on the river.
Yeah.
By that metric. But yeah, I mean, his bet calls are probably only king X. So like, I think every time Doug has a king, he should just rip so that when he has ace king, he gets paid the max. You're free rolling.
Let's go, Daniel. Nice catch, baby. Let's go. Daniel's gonna fucking do it, man. I feel it. Daniel's playing good today. I'm seeing some good fucking hands. I'm not seeing no mistakes right now.
King Deuce was a little bit out there.
He was spicing it up the turn. Like, he's supposed to find bluffs. Like, and then he got there, and then what's up?
He's not flatting a whole lot of king queen pre. That's an ambitious.
Yeah, but there was other value hands. He could have had 8-7.
Sure.
You could have 2 pair.
Right. Those hands, I don't think really love the check raise though.
No, like top 2. You could have top 2, 8-7. You can have like bottom 7.
You're up against an uncapped range.
Yeah, but, you got to figure it out. Well, top 2 is good until proven otherwise.
Sure.
Show me the straight. I got top 2. And then on the river, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But we'll deal with that later. Daniel goes with the B75. Queen of clubs, rather bricky. Only expect Doug to have like queen when he has hearts or so. I think you can value bet like up to a strong 6. Or down to a strong 6 rather.
Strong 6.
Maybe. Yeah, strong 6 seems fine. Let's go, Daniel. I got a house. I think he's cutting into today's lead so far. Three bet, 4 bet from Daniel now. I hope Daniel has king of clubs, king of hearts. Oh. No. Club. Throw it down. That might be the match.
Yeah, that's the rage quit right there for sure. Yeah. There it is. No one rage quits like D-Negs.
Sigh.
The hero dies.
Where's the club?
A valiant death. Yeah, I mean, he just can't win if he doesn't get out on some of those pots.
I mean, it's just like, just such a cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, ace king, aces. Nice hand.
Did we see the tap?
I don't know. Sometimes they play a couple more hands because of the button. So, like, sometimes I'm sad. It's like such
2 more
joke.
buy-ins to the stockpile.
Yeah, I mean, I think Daniel played pretty well today. I don't think that I saw like grave errors. I think he just ran a little bad again, which is like unfortunate. Like, I don't want to keep saying that, but like,
I mean, he lost 3 buy-ins in cooler spots and he won 1 buy-in in a cooler spot. So like, essentially by that metric, and that's the game. D-Negs taps out. GG. Yeah, by that metric, he exactly lost his run bad, or the expectation thereof. But I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. I think that he played pretty well. I didn't see a ton of river spots that felt like they were swinging unfavorably in Doug's direction, which was a nice change. That was kind of the big thing that I guess I'd been shining a light on for quite some time. So yeah, I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts overall?
I mean, Doug's gonna win if like it's always aces versus ace king, if it's always like a flush versus trips, if it's always like, yeah, nice hand, bro. Like, whatever. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, right,
man, yeah, I know.
Like, no, like, obviously the guy's a great player. Like, whatever. Like, he's a great player. But, like, it also sucks. Like, Daniel's running bad too. Like,
yeah. I think that's fair. Well, as far as we're concerned, we'll be back on Friday. Stay tuned. I am going to be giving away some pieces to my main event on Sunday. I will also be giving away at least 5% of my main event on Sunday streams. So if you only plan on tuning into one, definitely tune into that one. I'll probably give away 5 1% pieces and perhaps maybe a little bit more. We'll see. This Friday stream, we'll be giving a little bit away too. I'll be announcing it on Twitter, so pay attention to our social, pay attention to the channel, and we'll see you guys when we see you, I suppose.
If Daniel wins 150K next match, I'll give away something. Otherwise, don't fucking talk to me.
Oh yeah, and stay tuned for Friday's vlogcast, which apparently is going to have a really lit chin. We're about to go film that right now, so Godspeed. I think this will be the official drunk pod, where we kind of lit our hair down a little bit, so to speak.
You don't got no hair.
That's why I said so to speak.
Good night.
You know what figurative means?
You use a lot of figurative.
Good night, everybody.